Matt, our live 2024 European tour is approaching and some of the shows have already sold out.
Oh, I'm so excited that we've actually sold out Berlin.
I can't believe
that was the first one we sold out. That's blown my mind. And we're getting so close to selling out Bristol and a bunch of the other shows.
Yeah, Manchester, very, very close. Edinburgh, my goodness, only a few tickets left.
Grab them now. If you're thinking about you want to go, you're going to have to get on it because we won't be adding shows on this tour. Dave has booked it back to back to back. There's no room to add shows, unfortunately, but we're so pumped to get over there. So get on those tickets if you're keen.
That's right. This is the first 2 weeks of November. Tickets at dogoonpod.com.
We're going to Ireland, including Belfast. We're going all the way down from Edinburgh to London with a bunch of stops in between and unfortunately Berlin where you won't be able to go. But friends are on playing that night if you're in town.
We'll hang out at the gig together.
Yeah.
And these are the first 2 weeks of November and these tickets are available right now at dogoonpod.com.
Hey fam, it's Natasha Rothwell. I wanted to tell you about my brand new show on Hulu called How to Die Alone. It asks the question, if your life flashes before your eyes, could you say that you really lived? We follow Melissa, the character I play, after a near-death experience awakens her to the fact that she'd never really been living. I hope you join us on this journey as we follow someone who's waking up to life for the first time. Stream How to Die Alone starting Friday, September 13th on Hulu.
This podcast is brought to you by Squarespace, the all-in-one website platform for entrepreneurs to stand out and succeed online. Whether it's your first ever website or your business is expanding, Squarespace makes it easy to create a beautiful website and engage with your audience.
Now, Matt, we here at Do Go On are big fans of the horse name generator. It's saved our lives many, many times when we can't think of an idea.
Literally saved our lives. We'd be dead now without it.
Without the horse name generator. But Squarespace have gone one better with the business name generator.
What?
Basically, you describe your business idea with a short prompt and start generating AI-powered names in seconds. Then leverage Squarespace's domain registration, website building, and logo creation tools to start bringing your brand to life and establish your online presence. Get a good name and succeed.
I mean, that's what, like 90% of the battle is a good name?
Exactly.
You know, imagine if I wasn't Matt.
I can't even imagine.
I can't even imagine. My life would be a failure.
Exactly. You would have died without your name and without horse name generator.
Exactly. They're the big two. Hey, Dave, there's even more.
Whoa.
You can easily add appointments to your Squarespace website and start accepting clients. Accept them, Dave.
I need to, but I'm overwhelmed.
First, accept yourself. That's the first step. Automate your bookings, manage payments and invoices, send reminders, and more.
And you can get your website discovered fast with integrated SEO tools, which I believe means search engine optimization, which I nearly said correctly. Every Squarespace website is optimized to be indexed with meta descriptions, an auto-generated sitemap, and more, so you show up more often to more people in global search engine results.
Head to squarespace.com/do-go-on, D-O-G-O-O-N. I mean, I really am sorry about that. I'm mansplaining a little there, aren't I? You can probably spell the name of this show. Anyway, for a free trial, head to squarespace.com/dogon and to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. Holy moly, that is the value.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Do Go On. My name is Dave Warnicky, and as always, I'm here with Matt Stewart. Hello, Matt.
Hey, Dave. What a pleasure to be here on our show. Quick question. How good is it to be alive?
Very good to be alive. Thank you so much for asking. And joining us this week, not one, but two guests. It's Claire and Ashley from the Celebrity Memoir Book Club. Hello.
Hello.
Hi. Thank you for having us.
Coming down the line from New York City, the Big Apple.
Oh my gosh, the Big Apple live on the pod. I can't believe it.
Two stand-up comedians from New York. Bloody hell. They call it... I like to call New York City the gym because that's where I go to work out. I heard a comedian say that once, so I thought it was very funny. But anyway, thanks so much for being on. I will let you talk.
No, thank you for having us.
I also call it the gym because boy, is it a lot. You're walking
We've got
around.
Stairs. It's true.
There's a
You get your steps
pigeon
in?
every which way. You're high stepping over every single one of them.
Did you both cut, like you, New York born and bred, or because people just comedians go from all over America and move to New York City, right?
Yeah. So I came from New Jersey, which is truly across the river. I came from about 1.5 miles west, but I made it and I stayed here. And if you can make it here, they say you can make it in Australia. So I'm trying to live there next.
That's right. You're about to come out here. Have you been to Australia before?
No, and everything we did career-wise was to angle for this trip. So we're really excited. We hope it goes good.
It's all we've ever wanted.
So good. Where did you grow up, Ashley?
I'm from outside Chicago.
Oh, the Windy City.
Yeah, I blew right this way on a gust.
Yeah. I went visited last year. Loved it. It was the closest to Melbourne of American cities I've been to, I reckon.
That's what I've heard. I feel like whenever I go to an international city that people like, they say it's just like Chicago.
Yes, I was being arrogant.
I love that. But that's also a city that you chose to leave.
It's good. It just, there's a lot of enemies there. I was run out.
It's more improv than stand-up too, right?
There's a good amount of stand-up, but they're improving as well, I guess.
Well, look, I'll take your word for it, but I'm pretty sure there's some big improv stuff there.
Yeah. There's a scene.
Isn't there?
Yeah,
No,
the Second City.
I was there. I was doubting myself. I'm like, no, I went there. Second City.
Yeah. The Improv Olympic.
Two others oh, that's right. Yeah. Anyway, you're coming to Australia.
Yeah, you're doing some live shows later this month in September. Very, very exciting. You're going all over. I mean, you're going to Sydney, Adelaide, Brisbane, Melbourne, even Perth. A lot of people, they skip Perth. It's too far, but you've done it.
Taylor Swift didn't go to Perth.
Everything we do to one-up her, and this is kind of like our Eras tour, and people are treating it as such. So I would say don't even look for tickets. They're probably sold out, but double check in case I'm wrong.
Yeah, double check in case there's any runoff from the people who are still waiting, hoping for Taylor Swift to show up.
And are people, do they normally come dressed up as you from different periods of the podcast?
If they did... Oh, I would hide.
No, I was going to say I would love if we had enough growth. There could have been different periods of the podcast. We've pretty much just been two idiots, but in different apartments.
Yeah, I guess people
4 years.
do often come wearing just a T-shirt and sometimes eyeliner and sometimes no eyeliner, which is, two very distinct eras that we've been in.
And you go up to them and you say, thank you. That's a real honor that you did that for me.
I see someone wearing no eyeliner and I go, that's a throwback.
I remember those days.
So on your show, if people aren't familiar, it's called Celebrity Memoir Book Club, and you both read the same celebrity's memoir and then discuss their lives. And we've been listening this week, haven't we, Matt?
Yeah.
A lot of fun.
So good.
We love it.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Really.
And there's been actually a little bit of crossover. You've done a couple of people that we've done. What have you? We've talked about Marilyn Monroe, and you had...
Maybe Dolly Parton. Have
Dolly
you done
Parton,
her book?
yes.
We did Dolly
Parton.
Yes.
And one of your
But her book
more
came out
recent
in the
one.
90s, so it felt very like, you don't even know about your own second wind coming. Sometimes we'll do like her, Jane Fonda. Jane Fonda's like, well, it's 2004 and I'm done acting forever. And you're like, you're about to do 3 movies about Tom Brady. You don't even know yet.
Yeah.
I feel that she's very due for another.
Oh, yes, you're not given the sequel yet?
I don't think so, but it's coming.
Yeah.
Whenever they want to buy a new house, they do a new memoir. So, and everybody always wants to buy a new house.
It's so funny because Jess, our missing third, who's fine, by the way, stop worrying, but she's away. She's actually in New York. She's probably, next door to you right now. But she went to Dollywood on her trip.
She loves Dolly Parton.
I've never been. I got to try it.
You got to.
I mean, the photos actually looked really fun. It looks really, really fun.
What a
I couldn't
country.
even recall off the top of my head where that would be. I have to
Tennessee,
say something
I
I'm
bet.
very interested in Australians when they come to the U.S. We were just in D.C., and I feel like a lot of people always hit D.C. on their American trip. And I'm here to officially tell you guys, you don't have to see it. There's nothing there.
I can confirm that Jess was there just before New York City.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds right. And I feel like, I guess because it's the capital, it's in people's minds as a place to go. It's a non-entity. Unless you're in Congress, unless you're writing laws, you have no business there.
She
There's
sent
not
us
much going on.
She sent us a photo of the Lincoln Monument. That was pretty cool.
Yeah,
You can Google it.
No, it's so big, Claire. You don't even know how big it is until you stand next to it and you say, I'm smaller than a foot.
And that's when you really feel freedom, right?
Yeah. When you're literally under the foot of a president, that's when you go, aha.
When you go, oh, he could squash me with that shoe, you say exactly as it's meant to be.
I'm really looking forward to coming to the show. It's the Capitol in Melbourne, but we'll put a link to the tour in the show notes, I suppose.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
thanks,
do
guys.
yourselves a favor. Come sit next to me. And you're going to have seats, is that true?
Absolutely, chairs in every city. There's been a lot of debate about it. There's been speculation. I can guarantee that there will be a place for your hiney.
Okay.
Sit like
that's
Lincoln.
big. I think that's worth the price of the ticket alone.
Yeah,
just a nice spot to sit
Oh my
for a
God,
while.
60 minutes of sitting time.
Fantastic.
Thank you so much.
Another thing you can't do in America, honestly, loitering is a big no-no here. It's very free, but just not to do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're free to be, wherever they don't want you. You can't stay.
Okay. I love it. Fantastic.
We're going to get there one day. We will.
Yes. Yeah, we promised it was a Patreon goal about 7 years ago that we hit. We do a US tour, and we've not been able to organise the visas as yet, but we're feeling confident of 2025.
I also feel confident. I'll put in a phone call if you need. I don't think they like me over there at the office, but just in case.
Yeah, that'd be great. I think that'd be fantastic. Oh, but before we get into it, can you rate my American accent?
We get a bit of flack because we do like to do the odd impression.
Well, impression. I don't know about impression.
Well,
but,
the odd accent.
we both dabble in a bit of acting as well, as most comedians do, and a lot like Hollywood's a pretty big place for acting, and I feel like I could break into the scene because I feel like I'm nailing my generic American accent. Obviously, you got words like water.
Let me hear it again.
Water.
Oh yeah,
That's so close.
It sounded like a third American person is on this podcast.
I'm parched. Could I have some water.
You sound like a person in America that I wouldn't like, but I know him. I know him and I don't like him.
Okay. But still, you passed.
But he exists and he was born here.
What about
that's the. I want to go for villainous sort of roles.
maybe I'll win you back. I'll win you back with trash compactor.
Oh, that's really good.
Oh
They're
yeah.
always saying that. They're calling each other it. They're using one. I feel like a trash compactor is extremely American.
You know what I would call it though? I call it a garburator. I feel like that's a good American word.
Never heard that.
Can I
How about
say?
this?
That's the brand name. I think that's a brand name for a trash compactor is a garburator.
No, it's not even a
Oh,
compactor.
no.
It's a trash grinder.
Oh no, my retainer's in the trash compactor.
Okay, actually, I know
was
that
really
kid and
good.
I bullied him. That was good. That took me right back to middle school.
Obviously, Australian accent I've heard is difficult. Have you ever had a crack at it?
Oh, I try it constantly. I've watched a lot of Australian adjacent television for teenagers as an adult. I've seen H2O. I've seen Ballet Academy. I've seen, what else do you guys do? It was a real pandemic hobby of mine to watch. I was really into
Mako
Supernatural. Yeah, the Mako Mermaids. I was watching a lot of Canadian
nerve-related.
werewolf drama and then Australian high scholl drama. That was a big thing for me.
Well, can we hear it?
Oh yeah,
Do you
okay.
have
Vegemite.
I'm actually wearing a Vegemite hat, which I just realised is very cliched.
It's so Aussie screwing a Vegemite.
Vegemite. Which seems ridiculous here, but to you, you're probably like, is that just normal?
Everyone wears one.
Is that normal
One
fashion?
time at
now?
one of our live shows, someone brought me a jar of it, and I have it, and I'm going to try it.
I haven't tried it yet.
I'm scared.
It's an Australian actor has no stories to tell when they do a late night show and they do panel and they go, you gotta try this Vegemite. Oh, that's so salty. Yeah, that's too much, Jimmy. No. It's
go-to classic.
It's pretty cringy, but also it's great spreading that culture. Quite literally in that case.
Good, great spread.
Oh dear.
I could say this. I could go Rebel Wilson. Was that pretty Australian?
That's pretty good.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
She's a hero here.
Yeah. Do you want
I
She's
heard
on the
everyone
money.
likes
She's on the
her
banknotes.
Dave's got
everywhere.
didn't you have a tip about special words like one?
Oh, yeah. I was in New York this time last year, and I was at a bookstore, as you would say. We'd say bookshop. Anyway, I'm trying to be...
Isn't that beautiful?
No,
the
you're
cultural
translating.
differences.
Yeah.
I
and they sell-
appreciated it.
It's a shop where they sell books. And I went up to the counter and the lady goes, "Oh my God, are you Australian?" And I was like, "Yeah." And she goes, "Oh, I love doing an Australian accent." And then her go-to words to get into character were razor blades, which I've heard before, but then also pizzeria.
Pizzeria.
And then she could go from there. That was her in.
I kid you, nar. I feel like
yeah,
they are. There's
No, we don't sound like that. No, we don't say like no.
Can I ask something? And I don't want to be rude, but I've heard multiple times on this podcast so far that you guys are struggling to get to the U.S. for these shows. Yeah, it seems like you're both in the U.S. often and recently.
That's the working visa. Working visas are the things that.
Yeah, we've all in the last 12 months we've all been over there for multiple weeks of holiday.
I actually went there. I booked in a holiday for the end of the tour that we'd booked in.
Oh yeah.
Oh, so then you went on your holiday
I ended
anyway.
up going I went for the holiday and just didn't get to do the tour part.
Well, you deserved a break afterwards, so I'm glad you got
did,
over
yeah.
there.
I feel the problem is that they believe that we're tourists, but they don't believe that we're comedians.
The funniest thing is on the formula to fill out, it says any awards or certificates that prove your excellence in your field, i.e. Nobel Prize or Academy Awards.
I.e.
And we're like,
That's the bar. That's the bar for the
you go,
form.
oh, shoot. My Nobel Prize, not quite yet.
I was nominated. Does that count?
They're like, nah, you don't have the certificate.
yeah.
Okay,
Anyway,
what if we send them this episode, this like melding of Australian and American minds, and we say, how's that for peace?
yeah, that's beautiful.
That's really lovely.
And
we-
the war between the U.S. and Australia. The treaty of this podcast.
Okay, what
This
if
could be it.
what if we live right now say, I don't even care that you guys are better at swimming than us in the Olympics.
I think in the end you
there be
beat us
peace.
anyway. It was our thing, and you didn't even let us have that.
Yeah, you still won.
It was rude.
Let there be some fucking peace.
If you want peace, maybe just throw a few mates.
Yeah,
in
you
the
guys could
pool.
have Katie Ledecky.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, we'd love
That's-
Ledecky.
All we
please.
ask is one Ledecky. You can have Rebel Wilson.
Yeah, a trade.
right.
Trade agreement.
Anyway, we should really start the show. Do you want to explain how it works?
Yeah, so thanks so much for joining us. Basically, what we do here is we take it in turns to research a topic often suggested to us by one of the listeners. We go away, do a little bit of research, then bring it back in like a high school report style sort of thing. And it's Matt's turn this week to report on a topic. And the three of us, we have no idea what you're going to talk about. And we always get onto topic with a question.
That's right. I'm sort of asking a tangential question because I hadn't heard of the topic before, and I don't know what your areas of expertise are anyway. But my question is, what song did the Bangles have a worldwide #1 hit with in 1986?
Oh, Walk Like an Egyptian.
That's what I was going to guess.
Bang.
That's got to be the only one that they have, right? That's like
That was the only big
Bengals.
#1 hit. Yes, you're right.
I think that was their only song. I think.
Do they have Eternal Flame? Is that them as well?
Oh, I get them and Bananarama confused.
Oh, me too, actually. I think I might be thinking about Bananarama.
Both obviously fantastic musical outfits. No one's denying that. But no, they had other hits, but they didn't have any other worldwide
Yeah, Walk Like an
smashes.
Egyptian, that's huge.
Anyway, so that's not the topic.
We're not talking about the Bengals.
We're not talking about the Bangles' classic song that spawned
Oh,
a
are we
dance
talking about
center.
Egypt?
We're talking about a specific pharaoh from Egypt.
Oh my God. I didn't know there were multiple. I
Hatshepsut.
thought it was the Pharaoh.
Oh, well, there you go.
Tut
Sorry.
or nut. That's what I grew up saying. That's what I was taught in school.
What were you talking?
Tut or nut.
Tut or
if
nut,
it wasn't
yeah.
King Tut, you could just jerk off in the corner.
Okay. I was wondering if nut meant the same thing over there, and yes, okay. Tut or nut.
That's how we were taught in the U.S. So I'm excited to learn.
That's a fantastic education system you're boasting of.
So yeah, I'm talking about probably the most successful woman to rule Egypt as a pharaoh, and there weren't very many who did that, by the way. Her name was Hatshepsut, I think.
Oh,
Hatshepsut.
yeah, I know her.
What?
Oh, okay.
Have you done Hatshepsut's memoir yet on the pod?
No, but we've done her pod.
Can I say?
yeah.
I
She's
think the
great.
wall that it was written on fell down. So
That is true. That happens. I will talk about that later on.
Really?
A little
Hang on
hieroglyph
there,
shout out.
So this was suggested just by one listener, Elijah from Sydney, who's a bit of an expert in the field. And I've met them at a few live shows in Sydney. They made me and Seren candles as a gift, handmade candles.
Oh my gosh, maybe Eternal Flame.
Oh my God,
That's
there
what I was
you go.
thinking of.
That might have been what you're thinking of. Anyway, before I get into it, I'm nervous about mispronouncing a lot of the words. I'm not good at pronouncing words at the best of times. And that's, hieroglyphics are even more difficult for me
You almost got
to
it.
pronounce.
It's a phonetic language, I think, actually.
Oh, well, that's good. So Hatshepsut is spot on. Yep. I messaged Elijah about this because they did study it at uni, and they said, quote, with ancient Egypt, the way the language has been reconstructed actually doesn't include many direct equivalents to English vowels, and I think the closest living language is Coptic, so everyone's pronunciation is guesswork, so you won't be alone with mispronunciations.
Oh, great, because
That's a free pass.
That's
so
pretty
there might
nice.
be Egypt files, big Egypt heads out there listening going, oh, that's not how you say Hatshepsut.
and then you could say,
Right, prove it.
actually, no one knows.
Yeah,
And
no one
so
knows.
no native speakers left to
Yeah.
prove you wrong.
Yeah, they did one time recreate the throat of a pharaoh. Did you ever hear that?
Yes, he was upset, right?
I think he was a demon.
It was one of the funnier little news items I've seen, I reckon.
Yeah, having some sort of British archaeologist being like, and this is what he may have sounded like, and it's just, it's the best.
All right, so let's get into it. Hatshepsut. Maybe we need to give her a nickname. Hattie?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hattie. Okay, great. Hattie was born. Hopefully, that's not disrespectful. She's long dead, I should say.
I'm sure people called her something else. They just didn't have abbreviations in
Yeah, that's right.
hieroglyphics.
Term of endearment. Hattie was born at the dawn of the New Kingdom, which Elizabeth B. Wilson for the Smithsonian calls a glorious age of Egyptian imperial power and prosperity. Born in 1507, probably. Like all the dates and stuff aren't really. Every source tells you a different date, but something like that. In BCE.
I was going to say, my God, only 500 years ago. Okay.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
so we've just added 3,000 years
Yeah,
there.
yeah,
Okay. It's a long time ago.
She was the daughter of the pharaoh Thutmose.
Thutty.
Thutty, yeah, Thutty. The thuttiest of all of them. He was the Thutmose number one, that is, and his great royal wife, Ahmose, great royal wife, is what they called the pharaoh's main wife. So the pharaohs would have lots of
because
wives.
they were a bit Mormon about it.
Yeah, I think so, yeah. Thanks for putting it in
Poly.
terms I understand. But yeah, they're very poly. They had a harem of secondary wives as well. But yeah, he also had a favourite wife, which I guess was more political and stuff. It was about bloodlines and whatever. Thutmose apparently means born of the god Thoth, which I think is fantastic.
Okay.
Very lispy. Like it a lot. Thoth.
And what's that god? Is he
Oh my
known
God.
for anything, or is he just kind of
really?
like a?
To be honest, I'd never heard of him before, but let me do a quick search. God Thoth.
Can I say,
Should've
hearing
seen-
all these names, I'm getting why that guy's esophagus went, there's a lot of like you hear the sound a lot. That is what he
He's-
sounded like.
Yeah. Oh, no. I can't pronounce that.
Oh, yeah, Matt's showing me a picture here. He's, what? I recognize that.
Yeah,
He's one of the biggies.
He's one of the big ones, often portrayed with the head of an ibis or a baboon. Quite different.
Oh, I've seen the Ibis version.
His feminine counterpart is Seshat. Apologies for the pronunciations again. I probably won't apologize anymore.
Okay.
I think most Egyptologists have probably turned off by now.
They already knew all this stuff. It seems.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fine. People do tune in to tell us what we got wrong. It's like, if you know about it,
Yeah.
skip this one.
We're not the first source on this.
Leave the knowledge for the rest of us. We're thirsty out here.
According to Wilson, who I will quote from a bit, Hattie's dad, Thuddy the First, was a charismatic leader of legendary military exploits, and Hattie may have come into the world about the time of his coronation, sometime around 1504 BCE. This means she would have been a toddler when he famously sailed home to Thebes with the naked body of a Nubian chieftain dangling from the prow of his ship, a warning to all who would threaten his empire. It's a pretty full-on move.
Yeah. The weird first thing to see of your dad as well.
Yeah. Like, oh, Dad's back. It's the first memory.
With a naked man dangling from the front of his ship.
What's that on the boat?
He's
Dad,
brought
why
back
have
a
you
gift
done
from
that?
a work trip.
Yeah. This is for you, darling.
Yeah, that's panicking. You're like, I forgot to buy a gift for my kid. Hey, you can have. You can have
What can I find at the airport?
It was a magnet or this.
yeah.
Yeah, anyway, pretty full on. While she was still very young, I think a lot of things happened to her very young, like in the first, basically before she was a teenager. She was named Egypt's highest priestess, a big deal. Of this position, Cara Cooney, in her book When Women Ruled the World, 6 Queens of Egypt, she writes, Hattie gained all the material wealth that came with the institutional household as well. She was now God's wife of Amun, another one of her many titles, a powerful, holy woman in control of her own palace, income-producing lands, treasury storerooms, and hundreds of personnel from priests to bookkeepers to farmers tilling her fields. She was trained to conduct rituals that maintain the workings of the universe by helping the god Amun remake himself sexually every morning.
Okay.
Now, I'm not really
god
sure
or a
what that
man?
means. A god.
Sorry, we did look into what this means to remake yourself sexually.
I'm quoting an American historian, so I was hoping you might have been able to shed light on that term.
Can I say I went to public school, so
They didn't talk about sexual remakes.
I think it was once you lost it sexually, you were just kind of labeled a whore and shoved out to pasture.
Okay.
There was no remakes. Not in the eyes of our God.
I'm trying to see. He's like a blue guy with a big sort of hat.
What a gig, huh? Like, did you remake Amen? And you're like, oh, yeah, he's good. We chatted, but he's good.
Yeah. Oh,
He's up in the sky.
sexually
He's really
reborn.
remade.
Yeah.
Feels like a lot of pressure though, if she's just a kid and she's having to remake the universe every morning with a god, and she's the top priestess.
Big pressure.
That's big pressure.
Yeah, like I don't even think she's 10 at this stage. Okay. But apparently she understood her cosmic importance. I mean, historians have to fill in so many gaps. They've got, there is some writings and they've figured out the Rosetta Stone or whatever, so they understand bits and pieces. But if things get lost in translation,
There's no like Dear Diary going on.
no, exactly. There should be. I mean, there actually are some writings like that where she seems to be quoted almost directly, but obviously going through translations, and I'm sure there's not appropriate words for everything. So how could we possibly know what it? Thank you.
Fill in the blanks.
Fill in the blanks. That's right. You're telling a story. My publisher needs a manuscript by the morning, and I've got like a few tablets to go off. I'm gonna have to fill in some blanks here. She was sassy. She was.
She lit up every room she walked into.
Yeah.
Every morning she
flowery.
remade this guy sexually.
That's such a wild claim that no one would question you even if you did just make that up. Like Matt's Googled it, nothing comes up, but it's like, oh yeah, I guess she was doing that.
I mean, I didn't Google it, but it makes sense that you assumed I would have. I was up until 3 hours ago writing this up. I had an hour and a half sleep, but I'm feeling good.
You're feeling remade?
Yeah. Luckily, I got in a little early, remade myself sexually, and I was good to go. Wilson continues, she had it all. This is to me so funny to like a modern historian talking about someone from thousands of years
Lean
ago.
in.
This
Lean in,
lady
high
had
priestess.
it all.
She proved you really can have it all.
She was educated, trained in decision-making, rich in palaces and estates, and thrown into close contact with the most powerful priest in Egypt, not to mention the king himself, which was her
her
father.
dad.
Yeah.
To her, that's dad.
Yeah, that's just dad. That's just dad. Thuddy.
I would love training and decision making. What does that even mean?
Oh, yeah.
They were just like left or right. You've got to
I think it's like think quick and they throw a ball at her head.
Yeah, it was dodgeball, basically. It seemed she idolized her dad, though, and was a big fan of, like, the system. Apparently she was into the patriarchy of it all. She believed in the system, which makes sense when you're, like, you know, you're born to the king and you're given one of the highest offices in the land.
And you're 8.
Yeah.
Like, what are you going to be like, Dad, I've been looking at the situation and I have some ideas about the gender essentialism of our society.
It's, I'm not so sure about this, Dad. Did I really earn this role?
Yeah.
I think we should change to a meritocracy. Just putting it out there, Dad. Come on, Thuddy. Let's talk it out. So she idolized him a bit, was keen to follow in his footsteps, she said, or at least this is what she later claimed, that her dad had quietly named her as his successor when she was still young.
Right, but so quietly only she heard it.
Yeah, exactly. I think he whispered it.
Yeah.
I think within the flock of children, there's a lot of ones who heard a quiet claim that they were the successor.
Yeah, her 7 siblings also had the same whispering.
She didn't have, I think she only had one sibling, but she had a lot of half siblings from the secondary wives.
Right.
Anyway, yeah, the idea that her dad would have said that, scholars say that would have been highly unlikely because, as Wilson writes, there had been only 2, possibly 3 female pharaohs in the previous 1,500 years, and each had ascended to the throne only when there was no suitable male successor available. And that's not just brothers, that's half-brothers. You know, there's there's a whole brood of toddlers at any time because the pharaoh is getting out and about.
Getting remade.
Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah. Jeez, it sounds exhausting. The idea of a suitable male successor, ideally that would be the pharaoh's son with his main queen or great royal wife. But if that wasn't possible, a son he had with a secondary wife would do. But yeah, there was a couple of scenarios where there were none of those available and it had to go to a woman.
Okay, so the word suitable feels important here because with all those kids, there's definitely a son, right?
Yes.
But it's just not a suitable son.
No, there is a son in this case. She doesn't get jumped straight to Pharaoh. A few things have to happen specifically. Inbreeding is probably on her side because
a hero's journey. I'm so excited.
So Thutmose had the first, that is, had 2 sons. He came in. He was sort of fresh blood. The inbreeding sort of the family tree ended up being a bit of
just a stump.
A stump, basically. And he came in as a bit of fresh blood, a little bit outside, and reinvigorated everything, and ended up being a really great pharaoh for his reign of about a decade. And he did have 2 sons with Queen Armis, his main wife, but unfortunately they both died before Thuddy did. Obviously they'd have to outlive him. Or as Wilson puts it, I really like this term, I don't know if I've heard it before, they predeceased him.
What?
They predeceased him.
Like the way you preheat something. It's like before he deceased, they deceased him.
Yeah. Don't worry, Dad. We've already got it. We've got you covered. Here's
Nice.
a death we prepared earlier.
Okay.
So that means next in line became the son of the pharaoh of one of his other wives, who her name was Mutnofret.
What? One more time?
Mutnofret? Probably not quite that, but
I love it.
yeah. And when Thuddy number 1 died, the young fella was crowned Thutmose Deuce. Thutmose the Second.
Thutmose Jr.
Yeah.
The most, well, one of them can't both be the most Thuddy. Somebody's got to be the thought least.
Even more thought.
Yeah.
2 thought, 2 handle.
Yes. Thuddy 2, Secret of the Thut. So to consolidate his place on the throne, because it was a little, potentially could be, his spot could have been threatened because they're like, you're not the main son, you're a secondary wife, you're.
Oh, right.
You're not pure.
Yep.
You're slightly diluted.
Yeah, tenuous claim.
Mutnofret Who's that? So to consolidate his place on the throne, a marriage was quickly organised between him and his half-sister, Hattie, which made her a preteen queen of Egypt, probably around the age of 12.
Among other problems. Do you know?
Yeah, a bit young for queendom and to her brother, huh?
A bit young to already be incesting.
Well, only half incesting. No, that's...
Can I say, I think when you measure it out, half is more than enough.
Yeah.
You're an incest glass half full.
Yeah. With incest, we round up.
When I see a little bit of incest, I say no more. You've done the most.
And yeah, apparently I've read different opinions on this, but her husband was potentially even younger than 12. So bit of an odd couple there.
Grooming your little brother. Problematic. Now she's canceled. Now they're all canceled.
So yeah, she became the next great royal wife. And according to biography.com, the marriage to her half-brother, whose mother was a lesser wife, was a common practice back then. And the idea of it was to ensure the purity of the royal bloodline. Which the idea back then of what makes a pure bloodline is so funny. Like just incesting it down to
the same thing.
So yeah, basically, infertile children, which is what happens, pretty much.
Among other things.
Yeah,
so pure, we're taking it back to monkeys.
So not a lot is known about her husband, 32, but Wilson writes, historians have generally described 32 as frail and ineffectual. They're like, he's shit. He sucks.
Oh my God, that is like a mean thing to say about someone we have no information on.
Also, he's 9. Let him go through his growth spurt.
That's the only information we have is that he was 9 years old.
He literally just learned to read. Give him a second. He hasn't even gone to decision-making class yet.
The book I read by Cooney, she's like, some say he reigned for 3 years, some say he reigned for 10. And she's like, let's be generous because he left no impact on Egyptian society. Let's say he ruled for 3, and then maybe it's not so embarrassing.
No impact.
No impact. Yeah.
Can I say, take nothing but photos, leave nothing but footprints. That to me is actually a really good ruler.
32 lived by that.
Fix it.
Yeah, things were going well. Like everyone said, like this whole period was meant to be a great period in Egypt. So maybe it was just sitting back and letting it happen.
Yeah,
they kept cruising.
Can I say no impact is better than bad impact? He didn't tank society. There was definitely someone in charge when the whole place fell, so you don't want to be that guy.
The last person holding Egypt, yeah.
Anyway, despite him being a little loser, monuments depict Hattie standing supportingly behind her husband. Is supportingly a word? Doesn't matter. You know what I mean. Though the couple had a daughter, so he was pretty infertile, but he was able to get one out.
Yeah, but a girl. That's like a half a one.
Exactly.
Couldn't even do anything with that.
That's basically infertile.
Yes. He had kids with other wives, but a lot of them were pretty sickly, and I think generally infant mortality rates weren't great. Like it was a 50-50 kind of deal anyway. And him breeding with his half sister did not help all of that. But anyway, Neferure is the name of their daughter.
That's great too.
But no son. Nephi, I guess.
That's really beautiful.
Thank you. Thuddy the second reigned for maybe 10 to 15 years, maybe 3 years. Like, I don't really know. But yeah, he didn't get a lot done, and
Overall,
he died in his
bummer of an era.
Yeah. No one's going dressed up as that era.
Oh, you've come as 32.
Yeah.
To this Taylor Swift concert.
I'm actually pretty interesting, and my favorite is 32. I'm pretty unique, actually.
It's a deep cut. I don't know if you've heard it. It's on the
Bonus track.
B-side.
My whole personality is actually 32 and how much I stan him. So, yeah, he didn't really leave a mark, and he left Hetty as a widow still in her 20s, or probably 20s. And because there was no male heir with his main wife, the job went to the son of a secondary wife, Isis, not the god Isis, or the terrorist organization. Just a secondary wife named Isis. And yeah, this new kid was very young, probably only a baby when he was selected, because all of his siblings and half-siblings, they were all pretty young. So how was he picked? There was all these secondary wives.
Oh, yeah.
Kids.
Why is Isis number one?
Why did he jump out? Isis is a kid.
Oh, sorry, Isis.
Soon to be 33. Well, according to Cooney, this is how they did it. An oracle was used to choose the next king among the gaggle of princes. What does
That's
this mean?
smart.
Yeah. If you got an oracle, use it.
If I could know
Like-
what God wanted,
Can I
why
say,
wouldn't tap into that?
especially
Yeah.
coming off this weak and ineffective era, I'd be like, oh, get an oracle in here. We cannot thud again.
Yeah, please. God, help us out. We need a do-over. We're going to take a mulligan on this one, God. Tell us what you got.
Can
Anyway,
you
so-
imagine? Wait, what if you're like a 9-year-old king and everyone calls you weak and ineffective and a loser, and then when you die, they pick a baby? They're like, this baby could just do
Now
it.
we're onto something. Let's choose a strong baby. That'll get us back on track. So anyway, yeah, the oracle, this is how Cooney describes it. In every oracle proceeding, the statue of the god Amun was brought out of his shrine and carried aloft by his high priests, who then manipulated the god's movements to answer questions or give directions about future choices. So like it's sort of like, you know, letting a Ouija board decide the next president. You know, tea.
Also a good idea. Can I tell you? Not a bad idea.
Okay, it seems actually extremely irrelevant that they have this daughter who's so good at decision making and has it all. They're not even paying attention to that. They're like, let's do the Ouija board.
Yeah. Yeah, like it feels like if she was a boy, she would have been like clearly the number one, no competition. She's the next Pharaoh. But yeah, they went the long way around.
Movie. I wish they had the Barbie movie. That would have really cleared things up for them.
That actually, I think of my life in two periods, pre-Barbie movie and post-Barbie movie. That opened me right up. Back then, I would have been like, let's get the Oracle out. Now I'd say, let's make Barbie the Pharaoh.
Yeah.
BBE.
What about a girl?
Cooney continues, so all the young princes, or nestlings as they were called apparently, were gathered into a great hall of the sacred space, and the god Amun himself was brought forth as oracle to choose the king among them. The god moved about, circling the boys, apparently mulling his decision, and then decided upon the young Thuddy, number 3.
Wow.
Don't know what his name was before that, but...
But they just like spun a wheel
Yeah.
and then it landed on the baby.
Well, the way Cooney talks about it is she's like, we don't know what went behind it. Potentially, you know, the elites in the society, not like lizard people elites, like the higher up peoples or whatever. They, I know you have a big lizard people culture over there, don't you, in America?
And president.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Lizard person
president.
I think we have ones. If my sources on Reddit are correct.
Yeah, we always went to a pizza shop or something. I forget. But anyway.
Yeah.
This girl was
So-
there. Let me tell you, Hattie, she was remaking some people in the back.
Oh, yeah, big time. Oh my God.
Sorry.
That took me a moment, but yeah, that's funny and full on.
The big two.
So yeah, what was I talking about?
Oh, how they picked the baby.
We're on the third thud.
That is the third. We're on the third thought.
Yeah, the higher ups picked this baby.
Yeah, well, that's what Cooney's like. We don't really know. Maybe that was just like spinning a wheel, and what's the statue gonna do? He's a wacky guy, and they were treating it like a Ouija board. Or she's like, maybe they all went, we want this kid, and just so it's not on us.
All right, make it look.
The decision was made by the god, and if he turns out to be another dud, then we'd be like, well, that's jeez, the bloody god has sold us out again. Jeez, sold us a pup there, God. So, or maybe she even suggested maybe they took drugs to get all of their sort of prejudices out of the way and let them just feel it out.
Oh, I like that idea the best.
Maybe that's why they're circling around the kids and it's like, whoa, this kid looks like a son of a god. Because that's what the Pharaoh was, son of a god, which is pretty cool. Should be, you'd think it'd be more obvious which one's a son of a god. If one of them's the son of a god and none of the others are, you think they'd have a little a glow or something about them.
As someone who watched Hercules growing up, it was very clear that kid was special. And that's what I know about sons of gods.
Yeah, I feel like they need to, put him in a foot race. See which one of them.
Yeah, that's right. Race them. Baby
see
race.
Which one of them throws a frisbee the hardest.
Oh my God.
Do people talk about Jesus being a young athlete? I've never read the Bible top to bottom, but...
I he went to one of the early Olympics, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, okay.
Great high jumper. Yeah, really good.
And people never talk about it. It's so weird. Yeah.
He was really good at swimming. Just ran across the top. But broke a lot of records back then. Anyways, it was the first one, so I guess that
they did not have good training. They had no sense of proper nutrition.
That's right. They drink beers at halftime and stuff.
Yeah, turn the pool into wine.
Yeah.
Got wild.
So we've got 33 now.
33, which is the baby.
And it means Hattie is no longer, the wife of the Pharaoh.
Right.
She's now sort of like the auntie / stepmom of the Pharaoh.
Kind of like the Queen Mother used to be.
Yeah. So it's a bit of a step back. 33 took the throne as the baby king. According to Cooney, this was kind of unusual for the time.
To have a baby in charge?
Yeah, that's right.
Imagine if
this is years before Boss Baby
King
came
Baby
out.
was brand new. We were not doing that a lot.
That's right.
Don't judge us off this one baby king. This is not really what we do a lot.
This is not the norm. But yeah, she was like in any other place in the ancient world, if they had tried to install a toddler as king, like in the Levant, in Mesopotamia, in Greece, or in Rome, the young king's son would have been dead before the week was out, after which a mature warlord, still holding the bloody knife, would have been installed in his place while his minions slaughtered the young king's surviving family members. She's like, that's what would normally have happened. But in Egypt,
that sounds normal. I feel like if I was a warlord and I was like, oh, they have a baby king, I guess I
can take the baby king.
You just have to challenge the baby to one-on-one combat.
Yeah.
Listen, I cowered when they had that pathetic, weak 9-year-old king. I said, he's pathetic and a loser, but still someone I respect. And now they have a baby king. It feels very in my face. You've got to kill him.
So that's what makes sense. That's what would have happened anywhere else. But here they had a system in place, and the people respected it. I guess the god selected this baby, and they also sort of knew that. I think because there'd been problems before where there was drama around it. People fought over the throne, and it just ended up in trouble for everyone. So they're like, all right, this is the system. We maybe don't like it, but we'll just go with this. For now, and we'll wait out until they reach to another stump in their family tree, and we can jump in there. So 33 did eventually go on to be a great warrior king, but that was going to have to wait until he could at least walk and talk. According to Wilson, in these sorts of cases, it was accepted new kingdom practice for widowed queens to act as regents, handling the affairs of government until their sons, in this case stepson / nephew, came of age, and Hattie got the assignment. Apparently, like the way Wilson says it, this is kind of normal, but it would have really been more normal for the kid's actual mum to play that role.
Oh yeah, what happened to her?
I think because she was a lesser secondary wife, Hattie sort of like a bit of background maneuvering, got the gig, and it was it's all political really.
But she's in charge then.
Yeah, she's basically in charge because the baby's the king, but she's working on behalf of the baby.
She's the baby's top advisor. She's helping with decision making.
He has nap time, so I'll just handle this war.
Yeah.
She like the baby translator?
What?
Yeah, no, I heard him say it. Yeah.
It's kind of, she's got form because she did say, my dad told me that I should be Pharaoh like ages ago. And no one else heard it, but he did say it. He whispered it to me. Oh, the baby whispered to me that, I'm in charge now. And, Yeah, I get second helpings of dinner. So that's what the baby king said. So I don't want to go against that. So similar to 32, Hattie's brother husband, 33 was portrayed in monuments as the king with Hattie standing supportingly behind him.
And was she leaning over and holding up like a toddler's arms? Like, what's going on?
It's weird. Very symbolic people, the ancient Egyptians apparently. And they just, his statues, even when he was very young, were just like man pharaoh. You know? It was just, you know.
They gave him like great abs.
Oh, yeah. He was ripped. He was the most ripped baby. Very tall baby too. He basically looked like a full adult baby. Great beard. Similar, probably looked a bit like you actually.
I'm an adult baby, yeah.
Yeah, so despite the monuments, Hattie was really running the show, like I say. And within 7 years, she actually fully took over the top job and started calling herself the Pharaoh. It was sort of like a very low-key coup.
Right, you slowly,
God.
like maybe like once a week start referring to yourself as the Pharaoh, then twice a week, and eventually it's all you say.
Yeah. The first time she said Pharaoh, oh, sorry, I've misspoken there. And eventually she stopped saying, I've misspoken there.
Yeah, maybe she started something like advisor to the Pharaoh. Pharaoh, just regular.
So, she's now calling herself the Pharaoh. She starts having monuments depicting her as the Pharaoh. At first, she was portrayed as a woman Pharaoh, which was very unusual. And then they found ones a little while after that where she was sort of portrayed as a mix between a man and a woman, as Cooney writes, wearing a tight-fitting dress showing her feminine hips and thighs, but on her head she wore a masculine short wig and 2 tall ostrich plumes sitting atop ram's horns. And this, Cooney contends, is very manly. As she writes, there isn't a more masculine headdress than one with ram's horns.
And plumes.
Argue with that. Yeah, I mean, plumes.
A woman would never wear plumes, not one I know.
Not a feminine one.
No. And then eventually,
lady with luscious thighs who married her brother.
I liked reading her work, but yeah, she really did pad things out. Feminine hips and thighs, you know, like just anyway.
There's a word count we're hitting.
Yeah. And then eventually the monuments went full man, as Wilson describes, a full-blown flail and crook wielding king with the broad bare chest of a man and the pharaonic false beard.
Right.
Apparently that's big for the pharaohs, a false beard.
But can we check in on what the hips were doing?
Well, yeah, I think they were just like, they were thick. They were hot thighs. Just like her dad. Like her dad, her brother husband, and her nephew. Do you know what the false beard means? Like they were wearing like a beard merkin? Yeah, I'm picturing like a really cheap Santa costume, but Pharaoh false beard. I think it's like it's on all those Pharaoh monuments that if you're picturing one, but I just never noticed it as a beard.
I never noticed it as a wig.
The thing that comes from their chin?
I think so,
That piece, that long...
Yeah, I think that's what it is, that sort of goatee.
Yeah, like
they're in a 90s new metal band.
But like the longest goatee, like solid.
Yeah.
But I'm imagining them like taking it off and putting it on their nightstand at night, like as a pair of earrings. Like I guess I'm really caught up on the word fake. Like why would they just grow it?
I'm picturing Gavin Rossdale.
Nice.
Oh, yeah. I think, heartthrob sort of facial hair. Gavin Rossdale, that's
the Bush? So the Bush guy?
Yeah,
Gwen Stefani's ex?
Yeah.
Where's the rain? Great stuff.
Bush by name, Bush by nature.
Oh, yeah, he's very, very bushy on the chin. Maybe that's where it came from. We'll never know. History didn't record it. So, yeah, this is around 1473 BCE when she became pharaoh, and she was the 6th of the 18th dynasty. According to history.com, Hattie was only the 3rd woman to become pharaoh in 3,000 years. I love how some, like history.com is like definitely the 3rd, and like proper historians will be like, we're not sure, 2nd or maybe 3rd, but it's like the blogs and stuff can just be like 3rd, whatever.
Let's make a call.
We'll round it up. But Hattie was only the third woman to become pharaoh in 3,000 years of ancient Egyptian history and the first to attain the full power of the position. Cleopatra, who also exercised such power, wouldn't rule for some 14 centuries.
Wow.
Yeah, which I just picture it as a shorter thing, but it's a long
Yeah.
That's
period
too
of-
long. That's too long for one civilization. Pass the torch. Give it up. Joe Biden. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Step aside, Cliff.
Step aside, old man. And by old man, I mean
Egypt.
Egypt, the idea.
Egypt. But isn't it
I think that's something that America has really done well at, like being a quick world power. You know, you got in, you made a big splash, and you're on your way out.
Well, 'cause I'm nervous. I'm nervous that we will go out with a bang and it'll take us all down. But until then, we have had so much fun at the Olympics. And I
It's
have to
been
say,
great.
Disney World, that's great.
Oh yeah, we did a really good work with Disney World. We said, how else are you going to have an ice cream in the shape of a cartoon mouse?
A mouse. Ashley was just telling me about, the Wisconsin Dells? Water park capital of the world. There's 15
Whoa.
water parks in one city.
I think
that's
there's
very
15?
great.
Can I say there might be more? It's so many water parks. Next time, can I tell you? Okay, Australia, listen up. This is actually hugely important. When you
Sorry,
guys do your little your trips across America, skip DC, go to Lake Delton, Wisconsin. More water parks than you've ever seen in your entire
Is
life.
there
Okay.
more water parks in one city than Wisconsin has people in the whole state?
Yeah, there
Yeah, it's
might
our
be.
sheep.
I thought that was really unpopular. They got 15 water parks.
That's
in
Can
one
I
one
say,
city.
there's so many water parks. It's so fun. I think if you think a statue of Abraham Lincoln is going to blow your mind, wait till you see how many water parks they've got. And all different kinds of water slides. You've got the tubes, you've got the straight down ones, you've got the ones where you kind of like jump up at the end. It's crazy.
Whoa.
So anyway, I was just saying, a lot could happen in just a small. You can get a lot
Indoor
done with
water
a
parks.
shorter society.
It's
I
Wisconsin.
think so.
So you're thinking, oh, it's Wisconsin. It's so cold there in the winter. Well, they also have indoor water parks. So even if you're coming through in February,
Whoa.
oh yeah,
It's like, yeah, for
you
all
can smell them
seasons.
from a mile away.
Is Wisconsin is that the cheese state?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
imagine
Everyone
a
get
long
full
day.
of dairy and then get straight into a water park.
A long day slipping and sliding down a water slide. Okay.
Yeah.
And
Just
then
cheese curds out the ears. Perfect
Cheese platter
day.
on a summer's day. Beautiful.
the freshest curds you've ever tasted.
Okay,
I
sorry.
should say Australia is absolutely tied up in your empire as well. So when you fall, we fall.
Oh yeah, we've built many small water parks in tribute to you, but they're definitely not as good. We've got Wet and Wild.
That sounds
Yeah.
pretty
Just
nice.
one?
Need I
One
say
water
more?
park?
Yeah, it's next
No,
to
there's two. There's two on the Gold Coast. There's also
White Rapids or something.
White.
Rapid.
Okay.
Yeah, Dreamworld one. Yeah,
Yeah.
two.
We've got this thing where on the Gold
one
Coast,
city.
on the Gold Coast in Queensland, they've got 4 theme parks that are quite close to each other, and you can
5.
Is there 5? Well,
Well,
they
the
used
water
to be able
park.
to get a 4-park super pass where you could go to all 4. I'm wondering, can you get a 15-park super pass in Wisconsin and go to all 15 in one
I
weekend?
gotta look into that, and if not, well, that's a business to consider for a
Pay for 14, get
a
the 15
tiny and
free. Something
pathetic
like that.
king to come in and take over.
I think this is Egypt feels like the place that should have a lot of water park. I'm picturing very sandy and hot and dusty.
Yes.
What a great
pyramid.
place.
How you getting
Down
from
the
top to bottom
pyramid.
and slide on down?
Well, wouldn't you say that the Nile River's like the original water park?
Oh, yeah.
It's like the slow bit where you get into like the rubber tube and float around.
Oh, you
Nice.
guys would go
Ride or whatever.
crazy for one of the biggest water parks in Wisconsin. It's called Noah's Ark.
Oh, good. That's great.
That's great.
There are quite a few like Bible. I mean, I'm sure I've heard of one other one. Bible theme parks in America as well.
Oh
that
yeah,
right?
that's
We got a
big.
theme park for everything. We got Hershey's
good.
Park. That's a park based on chocolate, which I guess is also the Willy Wonka thing, so quite reasonable. But I feel like we've got a lot of.
I mean,
Other than your-
Dollywood. Dollywood, that's a theme park.
We got a listener who came out to a Melbourne live show from Hershey. Is that in Wisconsin as well? No,
That's in
wherever.
Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania. And it's going to sound like everyone gives us candles. This is the one other time. But he gave us a chocolate scented candle from Hershey. What a town.
What a town.
A delicious
town.
smell.
In America, if you have a business good enough, the business is town now.
You know what my favorite thing about chocolate? It's certainly not the taste. It's not the eating. It's the smelling.
I love that smell.
Yeah.
Love never getting to enjoy the taste.
I want my whole house to just kind of smell like a chocolate.
It's like edging for food.
Yeah. I should say beautiful gift if you're listening. Thank you so much.
We enjoyed that. We sniffed it.
Oh, we sniffed it too. It's nub.
This season, Instacart has your back to school. As in, they've got your back to school lunch favorites like snack packs and fresh fruit. And they've got your back to school supplies like backpacks, binders, and pencils. And they've got your back when your kid casually tells you they have a huge school project due tomorrow. Let's face it, we were all that kid. So first, call your parents to say I'm sorry, and then download the Instacart app to get delivery in as fast as 30 minutes all school year long. Get a $0 delivery fee with your first 3 orders while supplies last. Minimum $10 an order. Additional terms apply.
This podcast is brought to you by Squarespace, the all-in-one website platform for entrepreneurs to stand out and succeed online. Whether it's your first ever website or your business is expanding, Squarespace makes it easy to create a beautiful website and engage with your audience.
Now, Matt, we here at Do Go On are big fans of the horse name generator. It's saved our lives many, many times when we can't think of an idea.
Literally saved our lives. We'd be dead now without it.
Without the horse name generator. But Squarespace have gone one better with the business name generator.
What?
Basically, you describe your business idea with a short prompt and start generating AI-powered names in seconds. Then leverage Squarespace's domain registration, website building, and logo creation tools to start bringing your brand to life and establish your online presence. Get a good name and succeed.
I mean, that's what, like 90% of the battle is a good name?
Exactly.
You know, imagine if I wasn't Matt.
I can't even imagine.
I can't even imagine. My life would be a failure.
Exactly. You would have died without your name and without horse name generator.
Exactly. They're the big two. Hey, Dave, there's even more.
Whoa.
You can easily add appointments to your Squarespace website and start accepting clients. Accept them, Dave.
I need to, but I'm overwhelmed.
First, accept yourself. That's the first step. Automate your bookings, manage payments and invoices, send reminders, and more.
And you can get your website discovered fast with integrated SEO tools, which I believe means search engine optimization, which I nearly said correctly. Every Squarespace website is optimized to be indexed with meta descriptions, an auto-generated sitemap, and more, so you show up more often to more people in global search engine results.
Head to squarespace.com/do-go-on, D-O-G-O-O-N. I mean, I really am sorry about that. I'm mansplaining a little there, aren't I? You can probably spell the name of this show. Anyway, for a free trial, head to squarespace.com/dogon and to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. Holy moly, that is the value. All right, so she's taken over the new role. She is now the Pharaoh, self-appointed. Although she's co-pharaohing the baby or the toddler.
Oh, right.
He's still technically also Pharaoh.
She hasn't quietly put him down.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which, if she really hated him, like some historians suggest, she probably would have done that.
Yeah.
Accidentally, sent him down the Nile or something. But anyway, why this happened, no one really knows why she took it over. There are differing theories. Egyptologists of the first half of the 20th century suggested it was because she was a devious betrayer of her stepson/nephew, taking the position that was rightfully his.
Oh.
Okay, losers. That's like the loseriest take on this I've ever heard.
Devious. I mean, it seems like she just wanted to. Why would she do it? Why did she take over the throne? It seems like she wanted to.
Why would you want to be the most powerful person in the kingdom? God, that's such a weird decision.
But it is.
She must be so devious.
Funny. The things they like in the early 1900s, the mid 1900s, the motivations they like projected onto her were very funny and very of the time, I would say. But yeah, biography, more modern ones disagree with that. Biography writes, technically, Hattie did not usurp the crown, as Study 3 was never deposed and was considered co-ruler throughout her life. But it is clear that Hattie was the principal ruler in power, which makes sense. She was the one who could talk and stuff. Despite this, and I love that there's a lot of the experts in this field, the dated ones and the more modern ones, seem to be based out of the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York.
That's our thing. We have that.
Yeah, is there a big Egypt section there? Maybe.
Oh my
Lots
god,
of
huge!
mummies.
It's phenomenal.
Yeah, great. Well, yeah, they have some of her stuff.
We'll take a photo for you guys.
That'd
we
be
gotta
sick.
go see it.
Yeah, that'd be amazing.
Get on down.
So one of these old school Egyptologists was fellow New Yorker William C. Hayes, and he worked at the Met, and he called her, quote, the vilest type of usurper. And also said that her becoming pharaoh was when, quote, this vain, ambitious, and unscrupulous woman showed her true colors.
Wow.
Oh my God. So there's a lot of haters in
It's crazy to study a society where you get 3,000 straight years of male rulers, except for 2, maybe 3 aberrations, and be like, these fucking bitches. Like, if you hate women that much, you only had to know 3 the whole time. Leave her alone.
And he hates them all.
But that's why this is an American man in the, when America's really kicking off, this is the 20s and stuff. Feminism was sort of booming until the Great Depression, I think, in America. But yeah, obviously he was a historian. He was old school. He's like, a woman taking the job. And it's so funny. Don't you reckon it's so funny to call it like the vilest usurping? He's a historian. She didn't kill
things
it.
have been viler.
Way viler. I would say it might be the least vile usurping, if you even call it usurping.
The least vile thing that's ever happened is to like co-king with a baby.
Yeah, that's right. People are lopping off heads, killing family members.
Oh my God, the other thing.
This is vile.
When you were like, oh yeah, the normal thing to do would have been for a warlord to come by and knife them to death, and then hold it up and take the throne.
Knife the baby.
Yeah, respectfully, knife the baby.
Yeah, not in a vile way.
Yeah, well, there's a system.
This evil, horrible, horrible woman, she co-kinged like a bitch. We hate her.
So it's amazing how quickly. But yeah, modern scholars do not think about it in that way at all.
They're like, he does not represent us.
Yeah, and a lot of them, like nearly everyone I quote is American. Like Renee Dreyfus, curator of ancient art and interpretation at the Fine Arts Museums of San Francisco, has said, so much of what was written about Hattie, I think, had to do with who the archaeologists were, gentlemen scholars of a certain generation.
Not
Wilson
gentlemen
Wright,
to me. They don't seem nice.
No. Yeah, it's just like it. He sounded like the words made it sound like he'd taken it personally.
Like it was his family.
Like he was the baby.
Yeah. Wilson writes, another element of her reign that was disconcerting to some scholars was her insistence on being portrayed as a male, which we talked about before, with bulging muscles and the traditional pharaonic false beard, the bush beard, variously interpreted by those historians as an act of outrageous deception, deviant behavior, or both. According to Kathleen Keller, a professor at the University of California at Berkeley, said, though, she was not pretending to be a man. She was not cross-dressing. I mean, there's a pattern here as well. It was like, it seems like all the Egyptologists of the modern day are women. And they're all like, what were they talking about? So maybe it'll cycle back around. The next generation will all be men, and they'll go, no, the first guys were right. She was a bitch.
She was a bitch who looked like a man, and we hate that.
It's so funny to be like, all we have are these etchings. However, it seems that she was a big-time cross-dresser.
Yeah.
Let the baby speak.
Surely the artists were drawing exactly what they saw before them, which was her wearing a false beard for sure.
But that Berkeley University of California academic, Keller, she also said the inscriptions on these statues weren't trying to hide it. They all revealed her true gender with titles such as daughter of Ra or Ra, or feminine word endings, resulting in strange titles such as His Majesty herself.
Okay.
So
interesting.
Yeah, she's like, she wasn't hiding it. It was written there. Everyone, like, They could see her.
Because I feel like are they saying that every pharaoh beforehand, when they're depicted with huge muscles and in their statues, that was accurate?
Yeah, that was photorealistic.
Yeah, they definitely were those big,
they were all
strong.
jacked.
Yeah,
all
they were
those
huge.
inbred pharaohs. Yeah, they were jacked, man. And then, I like this from Joyce Tildesley, writing for Britannica. She agrees, and it's like such a fun backhander to those guys who were saying, what was she doing? Cross-dressing, trying to pretend she was a man, deceiving everyone. Tildesley wrote, to think it was a serious attempt to pass herself off as a man is to misunderstand Egyptian artistic convention, which showed things not as they were, but as they should be. In causing herself to be depicted as a traditional king, Hattie ensured that this is what she would become. So it's sort of like a little backhand of like, if you understood Egypt society at all,
you don't get it.
Yeah.
you know that is a ridiculous thing to say, man.
It's also so funny, like, what they give a pass. They're like, well, the king was the son of God. That's just a given. But this statue, this is so fucking preposterous that we don't know what to do with it. We're using oracles to put babies in charge. But a lady with biceps? Evil.
I mean, this is early 1900s guys putting words, like, as far as we know, the men back then were like, I don't think they were cool with it. Otherwise, there would have been more than the very few female pharaohs that there were. But anyway, this is why she's like, whatever you think of her, I don't think she's like some bitch or whatever. She's quite formidable, impressive, surely.
She had it all.
Yeah. Well, I think obviously she's a bit of a bitch, but
She waited twice. Like, she got passed up 2 times, and then finally she said, I think a baby could use some help. And that seems so reasonable. Like, that seems kind to the country. Like, was the country just going to run itself?
And she's like, I've my whole life's led to this.
Yeah.
Like, there was no one more qualified than her.
Yeah, I've been a high priestess since I was 9. I know what I'm doing.
I got this.
Yeah.
I talk to God on the reg.
Her resume, unbeatable in the region. If anyone else applied, they would have said, yeah, no, you don't have what she has.
Yeah.
Not
Except
if it was
for-
a gender blind process, but
Yeah, they might have had real
bottom of the
bulging
pile.
muscles.
So the early thoughts when because she was, I'll talk about it soon, but she kind of almost disappeared from history for a long time. And that's why it's these early 1900s guys who had all these theories, because she was unknown for quite a while. And I'll come back to that soon. But yeah, the early theories in those early 1900 years was she was a bitch and she was vile and she usurped this kid.
The rightful baby.
It was awful. Which, how many kings and leaders and stuff have done that forever? But putting that to one side, modern scholars don't seem to think that's true now anyway, with many arguing that she only took on the job to protect their dynasty's hold of the throne, including the young pharaohs. According to Wilson, modern Egyptologists now suggest that it was some sort of a political crisis, such as a threat from a competing branch of the royal family that obliged Hattie to become pharaoh. She's like, if we just leave it as this kid, the two of us together, an adult woman and a baby man, us together might be enough to hold off the challenges from the competition. She's like, the baby is very vulnerable if he's... And it turned out to be true because she ended up reigning for over 20 years.
Whoa.
Catherine Rohing, creator of Egyptian art at the Met in New York, said, far from stealing the throne, Hattie may have had to declare herself king to protect the kingship for her stepson. Backing up this idea is the way she treated her stepson/nephew, 33, during her reign. He wasn't under house arrest for those 20-odd years, says Rohing. He was learning how to be a very good soldier, which he went on to become. He takes over when she dies and becomes like a great pharaoh in his own right. Wilson continues, and it's not as if Hattie could have stepped down when her stepson came of age, saying, once you took on the attributes of kingship, that was it. You were a god. It's not queen for a day. It's king for all time. So you can't go, I'm the representative god. You can't just like quit that job.
Yes.
Otherwise the whole system falls apart. So she's like, I can't just hand it back to him. It has to be passed on when I die, sort of thing, which is interesting. Because people are like, if she was really doing it for his benefit, she would have stepped aside when he was an adult. But he was.
You can't just step.
You can't just step. So,
Also, sounds like it all worked out. He got it.
Yeah,
Everyone
that's right.
got to, like, I don't understand the problem. So everyone got a turn, and that's worse.
And he got, like, because he still got it relatively young. He got it in his 20s and he reigned for like 30 years.
Oh, great.
So, yeah, it seems like it all went. And I should say, like I said earlier, and we haven't really been talking about it, everything's going great. Egypt is just like in a hugely prosperous era. Everything's going fantastic.
So at the time, people probably aren't questioning it because they're like, it's a good thing.
I imagine if things were going bad, she wouldn't have lasted 20 years.
Yeah, yeah.
That's so true.
Cooney says in later text, Hattie baldly and perhaps somewhat defensively states, and so she obviously did write some sort of diaries or had some things put down because they did have record keeping things, but it wasn't very broad. Very specific records were kept. But anyway, apparently the translation makes it sound like she took on the power only because her godly father, Amon, the one she sexually reawakened every morning, asked her to do so.
Oh.
She tells us that her human father, 31, introduced her as king to his elites before his death. She tells us that everyone wanted her to be king at such occasions. They were like, yeah, you'd be a great king. That's what she writes, like, decades after the
Yeah,
fact.
everyone, like, high-fived me.
Everyone's
awesome.
saying, yeah, there's probably never going to be a king as good as you. You're the best king. I know you're not king yet, but you would be such a good king. And that's a strong position to be in, right? Saying, God wants me to be king. So then anyone who wants to, like, argue that, they're like, basically, you're going, what? You're disagreeing with God.
Yeah, you're calling God a liar?
You're calling God a liar? What?
I have to use that trick next time I fight with Ashley. We fight a lot. And I tell you, I never think to put God on my side.
Yeah.
I don't think God's a liar. So boy, oh boy, would you get me with that one.
Why would God lie? He's got no reason to lie.
Will God help you pick your next memoir?
Yeah, he picked a baby memoir.
It's a short episode.
So she went from regent to pharaoh, something around 7 years. I don't know how long. It was a few years she was regent. She was like, looking after him and then took it over full time or, splitting it about 7 years in maybe. And she also took on a new name, which I will mispronounce, but it's something like Matkare, which may translate to something like truth is the soul of the sun god Ra or Ray.
Wow, very efficient language.
And so I'm going to be like, it may or may not translate to the most perfect, beautiful girl in the world. I don't know.
But in the 20s, the men are like, it may translate to vile woman.
Yeah.
Snake.
Evil conniver, which was an interesting name for. She chose it.
Which shows her true colors.
That's a beautiful name, though. Truth is the soul of the sun god Ra.
I love it.
Yeah, beautiful name for a boy or girl. So, Matkare, or whatever she's also known as, she's known as a bunch of different things. According to Wilson, the key part of this name is the Mart, which is the ancient Egyptian, and I'm so sorry, Egypt people still listening, that I know that's not probably how you say it, but the ancient Egyptian expression of Mart is all about order and justice as established by the gods, maintaining and perpetuating Mart. To ensure the prosperity and stability of the country required a legitimate pharaoh who could speak, as only pharaohs could, directly with the gods. By calling herself Matkare, Hattie was likely reassuring her people that they had a legitimate ruler on the throne. Don't worry, guys. So a lot of this, some historians are like, a lot of this stuff of her saying, oh no, Dad said he wanted me to do it. The gods are telling me that. It's not just her big noting herself or whatever. It's not necessarily self-interest. It's like, it's a way of making everyone else feel this is okay. We don't have to be nervous. She's meant to be there. God said so.
Yeah, I got this.
So yeah, I guess you could take it either way, but no one knows. All of this is guesswork. All her motives and whatnot. A big part of creating the idea of Mart with the people was building monuments. I guess to sort of project a connection with the gods. And Hattie excelled in this area because things were going well in society. So she had a real chance to build. She was like
That's just like women, though, right? To come in and like redesign the place. Oh my god!
The feng shui.
She's like, I'm finally king, and I want an extension on the pool house.
She was putting en-suites on every bedroom. So this is what Wilson wrote about it. Her building projects were among the most ambitious of any pharaohs. She began with the erection of 200-foot-tall obelisks at the Great Temple Complex at Karnak. Reliefs, which is a term I hadn't heard, but they seem to be like engraved sculptures that tell the stories of things that have happened. So there are reliefs that they found commemorating the event of erecting the obelisks, each weighing about 450 tons, being towed along the Nile by 27 ships manned by 850 oarsmen.
Wow.
Like a building project's great, but normally, like, is there any more useless project than a big stick? That's what an obelisk is, isn't it? Isn't that just a big stick?
Big pointy thing, yeah.
Yeah.
We've got one of those right by the Lincoln Monument too, I think.
Oh yeah, the Washington.
Worth checking out in DC when you're there.
Yeah, the Washington Monument is a big stick. So if you hate those, then heed my warnings.
Skip it and go to the water park.
Yeah, I think I'd rather the water park.
I'm 100% going to Wisconsin. And so like everyone, I think most Australians who travel to America would go to the same maybe 5 places, generally speaking. So, California, maybe a couple of cities in California, somewhere in one of the big cities in Texas.
Austin.
Maybe New Orleans. Yeah, probably Austin. That's what I did. New Orleans, New York City, maybe Boston, I think would be probably. Or maybe Miami if they like Disney.
Oh, yeah.
Don't you reckon, Dave? Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the common one. But I think they are really skipping over Wisconsin, especially now we know it's got 15 plus water parks.
First of all, sounds like everyone's skipping Chicago. That's a really good one.
And Chicago,
And
yeah.
Yeah, Chicago is
you
actually
can
popular too, yeah.
drive up to Wisconsin, have the water park, the wet and wild weekend of your life, and then you can go to, I guess, Boston.
Ashley, you talking about a water park? Water park?
Yeah.
You really got to land the K. I think you're getting lost in the R.
Yeah, the R's are brutal because we don't pronounce them. So.
And you're not making it to the K at the end of
Yeah,
that.
water park.
Yes. That
You're
sounds like a water
yeah.
park
Water
employee.
Oh my God, do you know what my name is?
Water park.
Claire Parker. How's that?
Claire
Can I hear
Parker.
that?
Hey, Claire Parker.
Okay, wow. What
Hey,
an
great
ugly
to-
name
hey,
coming from
hey,
you.
Hey, what a pleasure to see you, Claire Parker.
That's very
Yeah.
King of the Hill. I feel like you were taught English from King of the Hill.
Hey, would you like to buy some propane?
I was getting more Kermit the Frog.
In my head, it was Tiger Woods, but you know.
Oh, really? Okay. We've all got a different take then.
Yeah, that's right. I'll never listen back to this. I'm sure you were more accurate than me. Yeah, but I think Wisconsin, I'm assuming you are in the pocket of Wisconsin tourism, but you're doing a good sell.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm in.
Thank you so much.
What if that was
Thank
our
you.
one advertiser? Like,
Yeah.
The state of Wisconsin.
So yeah, Wilson continues about her public works program across the empire. It was mainly concentrated around the area of Thebes, which is like the theological and dynastic center of the Thadi dynasty. And she built a network of imposing processional roadways and sanctuaries at Deir el Bahri, which was named, many centuries later. I don't know what she would have called it at the time, which was just across.
I hate
Yeah?
to interrupt, but this sounds
please.
a lot like FDR. And in my country, America, we loved that guy.
Oh,
But
yeah.
he famously built roads and stuff. And that was as good as it got for us.
We had
FDR,
one
is he
guy-
the one in the wheelchair?
Yep.
Yeah.
Who was in the Annie musical?
Yep. Yeah. I think
yeah.
he adopted the little girl that
Yeah.
America's princess, Annie.
That's
But he
great.
built a lot of roads, and we loved that about him.
We had
New
one
Deal.
guy who was going to build roads, and he was the only one. We've gotten not a road since.
But I'm just saying, I
He's
think
the big-
people
he's
might
the
have
big
really
road
loved that
guy.
about her. In our
Yeah.
country, we love it when people build roads.
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah, you invented cars, right? Basically, you made them.
True.
You made them what they are, and what would they be without roads? You know what I mean?
That's so true. The infrastructure, people love an infrastructure project. It gets people employed.
That's right.
It's connecting communities.
It's great for the economy. You know,
Everybody wins.
So she's that.
She's that. Yeah, that's right. She's made, you know,
Egypt's
in a
FDR.
prosperous era, you can just like hoard the cash or you can spend it. Make
Exactly. You can hire 850 oarsmen to
yeah.
tow a useless monument if you want.
Yeah, I imagine they were all getting paid really well.
I forgot about that bit.
Yeah, so she's getting stuff done, and apparently her magnum opus, the thing she's most famous for, was an immense memorial temple used for special religious rites connected to the cult that would guarantee Hattie perpetual life after death. So this one's for me. My big magnum opus building, that's where I'm going to be buried, and yeah, it will guarantee my afterlife.
I forgot
Like,
that she
this
has
is
eternal
a
afterlife.
road for you, and then the big building, that'll be my thing.
But yeah, I'm building a road so you can come and say hi to me in death. You know, you'll be able to
We
get
had
there
this other
easy.
president, Trump, and he did something similar.
Yeah, that's
So she's
right.
kind of a Trump FDR hybrid.
Which is, I mean, if you could get another one of those, they'd win in a landslide, wouldn't they?
Trump should try sitting down
Okay.
for the imagery.
So yeah, this temple, pretty sick. Tildesley calls it a famous example of creative architectural exploitation of a site.
Oh,
Isn't that high praise?
incredible. A site.
I'm like, bloody hell. Tildesley.
And is it still around in it all? Any bits of it?
Yes, it is. It was kind of lost and uncovered, and they've worked at putting it back together a little bit.
Wow.
Because it's still there. Yeah, I think it's seen as one of the wonders of the ancient world or whatever.
Cool.
If that
Or
means
whatever.
Or something.
anything. Oh, you know, like whatever.
It's no Wisconsin Dells, but
Yeah, that one's going to stand the test of time. So yeah, of this building, I'll just read a couple of paragraphs of Wilson about the site. Dramatically sited at the base of towering limestone cliffs, the temple, which is regarded as one of the architectural wonders of the ancient world. Oh my God, why did I go?
Or whatever.
Or whatever. I went off script and it was fucking right there moments later. Anyway, and it is approached through a series of terraced colonnades, and courtyards that appear to ascend up the very side of the mountain. Despite the enormous scale of the complex, and I like how she puts it in terms we can understand, roughly the length of 2.5 American football fields, its overall impression is one of lightness and grace, unlike the fortress-like temples of her predecessors. There's a woman's touch. Bit of a lighter touch.
Beautiful.
The temple's lower levels featured pools and gardens planted with fragrant trees. How they would know that, I don't know. Supersized images of Hattie were everywhere. Some 100 colossal statues of the female pharaoh as a sphinx guarded the processional way. Lining the terraces were more images of the ruler, some more than 10 feet tall, in various devotional attitudes, kneeling with offerings to the gods, striding into eternity, or in the guise of Osiris, god of death and resurrection. Miraculously, a number of these statues survive. Most are massive, masculine, and meant to be seen from a distance.
Ooh.
That made the hairs on the back of my neck stand up.
It sounds really cool.
Wilson has a way with words. Meant to be seen from a distance. Oh my God. Fantastic.
Right.
It looks like bullshit up close, but take a step back and you will love it. Is she sounding like any other presidents now? Someone who's just made
I
so many
Lincoln,
monuments
right?
of herself?
That's a big one.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a few. Yeah. And there's so many places called Lincoln. He probably didn't do that himself, but Lincoln's big. Lincoln,
Oh, yeah.
Nebraska.
Especially the statue of the big Lincoln.
Oh my God.
And that one
Yeah.
looks good from afar. You go far away and you look at it and you go, okay, now I can see the whole thing, and that's nice.
The first I heard or saw of that big Lincoln was the twist for the Mark Wahlberg Planet of the Apes, where it's
Where in the chair was
It
actually
goes
an
to-
ape instead.
an ape. Yeah, it
And
was
you go, what a twist.
Abraham Lincoln, which is it's so crazy that film was panned. That is good stuff, I would say. But anyway, sort of we're coming towards the end here. So yeah, I probably don't think she was a vile, ambitious usurper that some suggest. But she was obviously somewhat ambitious. You know, you're unlikely to find yourself in her position without a bit of drive. And she was.
I will say that's not even true. She was born to the king.
Yeah. Well,
She was born to the king, passed up twice, and then there was a baby next to her. How ambitious do you have to be to usurp a baby?
Yeah, she had to look over and go, "Oh, fine."
I mean, I don't know if I would have. Like, it sounds like a lot of pressure. I think he's got it. I think he's doing great. Look at him. I think he's advanced, actually.
I think it
he's doing
literally is
really well.
more work to take care of a baby than it is to usurp a baby.
Yeah, that's it. She just didn't want to have to look after him.
She's like, be a mother? Ugh.
I think it seems like, anyway, she was good at background politics and diplomacy and that sort of stuff. As Cooney writes, she was a master at cloaking her political ambitions in a veil of ideology, taking the onus of any power grabs off herself and calling her actions simply the will of the gods. But also, she may have just believed this stuff, right? You're brought up believing that the gods are controlling everything. Yeah. You're brought up saying, yeah, your dad's the son of God.
Yeah, she talks to God every morning.
You probably fully just believe it, right?
Yeah, why would she be a master manipulator? Her dad was like, the pharaohs chose, like, you're the pharaoh. I picked you, you're the god. And then everyone was like, no, you're not. She's not manipulating them into thinking it's true. She's like, no, this is like for real.
Yeah.
I know God. I literally just talked to him.
Yeah, exactly. He said it, not in so many words, but it was a vibe thing. And
there was a whisper.
Yeah. And I could tell what he meant. He meant, I'm, basically his son now, I think. Is that right?
Yeah.
So yeah, anyway, Cooney was probably a bit more pessimistic about it all. But yeah, talks about how, she showed herself in temple scenes in Nubia and Elephantine, so sorry about the pronunciation of these, and Thebes, interacting directly with the gods as no regent or god's wife of Amun ever had before. Egyptian elites, no wife of Amun had ever been pharaoh before either, so feels like it's not like for like.
Yeah. She's breaking the glass ceiling, guys. Give her a break.
Yeah.
Egyptian elites had never before seen the god's wife of Amun depicted so large, so close to the gods, performing rituals that normally only the king had power to perform. Which, she was the king, so I don't really know why they've said that. But anyway, I probably shouldn't have. I shouldn't be voicing those weird opinions from Cooney. Tiddlesley, I've said Tiddlesley's name different every time, but anyway, Tiddlesley.
There's a new one, I love it.
This is the seventh way I've pronounced their name. They write that had he never explained why she took the throne or how she persuaded Egypt's elite to accept her new position, but it just seems like she, it made sense. That's probably how she was like, come on.
I'm already doing the job.
Yeah. And like, yeah, you're right. However, an essential element of her success was a group of loyal officials, many handpicked, who controlled all the key positions in her government. But yeah, she's obviously pretty good people person or whatever. One of her loyal officials was a guy named Senenmut. He had a strange career, getting involved. Like his entry into life as an elite was being Hattie's daughter's tutor.
Oh.
And he was a climber. This guy's like,
that's a good way in.
He's not born into that.
No. And Hattie obviously liked him because from tutor he went on to gain 93 different titles, including Great Steward of Amun, who was the god of Thebes. So yeah,
93. You couldn't even remember your own title.
Yeah, that's a lot of titles.
Imagine having to write those down on a form.
Oh gosh. Or like if you get
rejected every time that guy's not getting a visa.
He's no visa for him.
He just can't remember his username. It's one of these.
Oh, it's too long.
So he wasn't a royal himself, but as he got more power, he started getting monuments built honoring himself as well, which was apparently a bit unusual.
For a tutor.
Yeah, just for a pleb.
And can I say, public school teachers, they deserve every monument they get. So.
Yeah, that's right. Rise them up.
Preach. I'm a son of one.
Unionize,
I'm a son
buddy.
of one. Yeah, big union man, my dad as well. All right.
I love that.
If he's listening, Workers United. Whatever. Anyway, cool. If listeners want to take anything out of today's episode, unionize and visit those Wisconsin water parks. According to history.com, some have suggested Sennemat might have also been Hattie's lover, but little evidence exists to support this claim. But
Well, the 93
a lot of
titles,
people
I
suggesting it. As well as the secret lover theory, some Egyptologists in the 20th century believed that he was actually the one pulling all the strings behind the scenes.
Well, I mean, there must be a man here somewhere.
That is exactly what they said. In 1961, historian Alan Gardner wrote, "Not even a woman of the most virile character could have attained such a pinnacle of success without masculine support." Wilson writes that Gardner has now been largely discounted by experts as a woeful underestimation of Hattie. But it is very funny. I mean, obviously, there would have been men supporting her as well, because, you can't be king with no support at all.
Yeah.
If everyone's
the
against
whole country.
Yeah.
The whole country supports you. God's a man, famously.
Yeah, but that's the key for all the male pharaohs as well. Like he's leaping to the conclusion that means she couldn't have any power at all, and she's just a puppet. Which is, anyway, they've discounted Gardner's thoughts pretty conclusively. I've had an hour and a half sleep, by the way.
Yeah.
Normally have a huge vocabulary. One of the best vocabularies. So wait, where am I? Oh yeah, I said we're coming up to the end, but we're at the last few pages, and my font is very big. I am waning.
I'm really impressed with all this research.
Yeah.
I feel like having to have multiple sources is so difficult. We have like one thing, and then we're like, don't ask us a second question. If it's not in the book, we won't address it.
Yeah, great. Which is so funny when you did the episode I was listening to was about John Mulaney's ex-wife, and the book doesn't address John Mulaney at all.
No.
Which has the publisher must have been, come on, please.
Well, the one I was listening to on the drive-in was about Flea from the Red Hot Chili Peppers, which he mentions the band with, 2 or 3 pages to go?
Yeah.
I would have been so annoyed.
He's like, and then I met a guy who had a pretty funny idea about lyrics. Where would this go? And you're like, wait, no, that's what I showed up for.
Whoa. Tell us about that, Flea.
He's doing it. That's a cliffhanger.
Hold on,
Yeah,
come back. Another chapter.
Yeah, please, a bit more.
So how long did he spend on his first 3 years of life in Melbourne? Because I think he was born here, wasn't
A
he?
lot, like 100 pages.
Oh, really?
I consider
Honestly,
him an Australian celebrity because of how much he gave to Australia in his book.
Oh, that's guy. I would have assumed he would not have paid any. Yeah, I thought he wouldn't even remember. Wasn't he like 3 or something when he left?
Yeah, but like, you say that he references himself as I feel proudly Australian and things like that. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I think of him as the most Californian man in the world.
He loves his grandma.
She was
sick.
from Australia.
Gotcha. So, Diddlesley, again, that's another one, I think, writes, traditionally, Egyptian kings defended their land against the enemies who lurked at Egypt's borders, but Hattie's reign was essentially a peaceful one. Peaceful, prosperous. It was a great time to be an Egyptian.
Okay, so
Honestly, it
women
sounds
should be
great.
president.
Yeah, all the time. It sounds like it went really well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it seems to have.
Sounds like things were never better.
And yeah, her foreign policy was mainly based on trade rather than war, which was a bit of a change up as well. But there are scenes on the walls of one temple in Western Thebes that suggest she did have a short, successful military campaign in Nubia early in her.
Okay, so she gave a whack at war, crushed it, got bored, moved back to peace. Like, what couldn't this lady do?
She showed I can do that if I want.
Yeah, I'm just not in the mood right now to have war.
And the biography writes, and I don't know if she went the right way here, but it writes, unlike other rulers in her dynasty, she was more interested in ensuring prosperity and building and restoring monuments throughout Egypt and Nubia than conquering new lands. I don't know.
Till the soil at home.
Yeah.
Yeah, be happy
Shouldn't
with
we all
what
be
you've
happy?
got.
Like, what you want is in your own backyard. I learned that. Or early.
Is that why you left New Jersey?
Well, yeah, I left my backyard, but I could see New York from my backyard. And it's a metaphor. You can't I carry it with me spiritually.
I'm all the way with you, big time. Big into trading. One great trading expedition that seems to be a most famous one. It's the one that's referenced in every article you read. Which is funny. When you read one article, you're like, oh, they're just summarizing all these great things. And then you read 10 articles and they're just slightly differently worded versions of the same. They're like, they don't know that much about this woman, I don't think. Yeah. But anyway, one great trading expedition during her reign was to a land called Punt, which no one knows exactly where it was, but some think it's in modern-day Eritrea. And there are reliefs, those sort of, sculptures made about telling the story, commemorating the trip. And Wilson writes that they show the Egyptians loading their boats in Punt with an array of highly prized luxury goods, ebony, ivory, gold, exotic animals, and incense trees. Never, reads an inscription, were such things brought to any king since the world was. They're just doing things no one had ever done before.
Yeah, got some good stuff.
Killing it at trading. I wonder, it doesn't say what she gave up for that.
Yeah, it was a bad trade.
Yeah, it was a bad trade. She gave up babies and mad heaps of babies.
Yeah, but you can make a new baby. They've never even seen incense.
Yeah.
Can I say reliefs sound like podcasts?
Yes.
Kind of the podcast of Egypt.
We're the modern relief.
Yeah, that's right. Tiddlesley writes, towards the end of her reign, Hattie allowed 33 to play an increasingly prominent role in state affairs, and following her death, after 20-odd years on top, she was in her 40s maybe, 33 ruled Egypt alone for 33 years. So he had a great stint. He was also really good, but he was more of a warrior. He was more of a, he took it back to war.
I don't like that about him.
He had 20-something years just like pent-up aggression, being too IC.
Yeah, get the hit list going.
He's like, that's not what I would have done. Trade. I would have killed him. I'll show you. So her tomb, which he built, which was really sick, obviously, Wilson writes that it was large enough to accommodate both her sarcophagus and that of her father. Reburying him in her tomb was yet another attempt to legitimize her rule. It's believed that Hattie died around 1458 BCE. According to biography, in recent years, scientists have speculated the cause of her death to be related to an ointment used to alleviate a chronic genetic skin condition, a treatment that contained a toxic ingredient. After testing of artifacts near the tomb has revealed traces of a carcinogenic substance. So this is the theory, but they think that might be
She had a skin
That's
condition.
so crazy that they're like,
bad.
oh, toxic ointment for her genetic skin condition.
Yeah.
You can't have it all.
yeah. With her death, 33 became Pharaoh. And according to old historian, that guy who thought she was a conniving bitch.
Right, so we can really trust what this guy's about to say.
Yeah, William C. Hayes said 33 had developed a loathing for Hattie, her name and her very memory, which practically beggars description. He's put 2 and 2 together, got 17.
Yeah.
But you might, at the moment, you go, what's he basing that on? But you might see his logic in a second, because he suggests that this is why he carried out the destruction of many of her monuments, basically in an attempt to wipe any trace of her reign from history. 33 just basically he bricked up around her monuments and statues, knocked down things, smashed it all up.
Weird.
That's
okay, that
rude.
isn't like loving.
No. So that's
I thought they
so
were,
you can
like, best
understand
friends.
William Hayes's idea that okay, maybe he obviously was pissed off and he couldn't wait. But what he doesn't mention was he didn't do that just after she died and he was Pharaoh. He did it decades later. He did it deep into his own reign. So it wasn't like this build up of fury. It was obviously for some reason, and he didn't really think about it that much, old Hazy. But yeah, more modern day ones disagree with that, which I'll talk about in a second. But centuries later, in 1927, Egyptologist Herbert Winlock witnessed some of the destruction. Wilson writes, signs of desecration were everywhere. Eyes had been gouged out, heads lopped off. The cobra-like symbol of royalty hacked from foreheads. Winlock, head of the Met's archaeological team in Egypt, had unearthed a pit in the Great Temple complex at Deir el-Bahri. In the pit were smashed statues of a pharaoh, which of course was Hadi. The images had suffered almost every conceivable indignity, he wrote, as the violators vented their spite on the pharaoh's brilliantly chiseled, smiling features. To the ancient Egyptians, pharaohs were gods. What could this one have done to warrant such blasphemy? In the opinion of Winlock and other Egyptologists of his generation, plenty. Winlock wrote that 33, quote, could scarcely wait to take the vengeance on her dead that he had not dared in life. It's basically like he was scared of her, but as soon as she died, he really messed up her monuments.
That's such a cowardly thing to be like, say nothing in life, but then when she's gone, yeah, and then you start chiseling her face off.
20 years later.
I got
Yeah,
it.
like just punching a statue and be like, well, you know what I would have done to her if I saw her now? I would do this. I would do this. I would kick her.
And then she walks in the room and like, oh, hey, Hattie.
Oh, whoa, I was just fixing up your tomb.
I thought you were dead. But yeah, like I say, more modern scholars don't really believe in that anymore. As Tiddlesley writes, rather than an act of vengeance, now it seems like 33 was just ensuring that the succession would run from 31 through 32 to 33 without female interruption. That's all he was probably doing. And this was, which seems that, you go, oh, that's weird. Well, why does that matter?
I hate female interruption.
Yeah. We love it. Jump in at any point. I should have said that.
Yeah, we've been shy. Sorry.
But the idea is basically to avoid anyone disputing his or his son. And he didn't name him 34, disappointingly.
No.
He named his son he named his son Amenhotep II. And yeah, he was basically like, I'm doing this to make sure no one goes, hey, after he dies, that your son, he shouldn't be a ruler. He's come through this woman chain.
Yeah.
That was the idea, apparently.
God forbid a baby come from a woman.
Yeah, so it's amazing. But he was so successful in erasing her from history. She was basically erased for millennia. Going a little further than this, Egyptologist Peter Dorman believes that Hattie's unconventional reign may have been too successful. A dangerous precedent best erased, he suggests, quote, to prevent the possibility of another powerful female ever inserting herself into the long line of Egyptian male kings. So that's another theory, like why she might have been erased.
That was my theory. Can I say, if I came in after someone who had led like 20 years of prosperity and peace, and my shtick was being a soldier, I feel like I'd really want them to forget that they used to not have to go to battle and die.
That's right.
I'd be like so gassed out. I'd be like, no, we've always been doing this. And they're like, it used to be really good and peaceful. No. That temple? What temple?
Yeah, show me the statue that proves what you're talking about.
The gaslighting pharaoh. But because she's like literally building this place with gardens and pools and stuff. He's like, no, that never happened.
Yeah, I didn't.
What pools?
Well, I don't
you mean
remember
the sand? The pools are in Wisconsin.
Yeah. So Tiddesley continues. Hattie sank into obscurity until 1822 when the decoding of hieroglyphic script allowed archaeologists to read the Deir al-Bahri inscriptions. Initially, the discrepancy between the female name and the male image caused confusion, but today the Thadi succession is well understood. It's sort of undisputed now.
Yeah.
That the story as we've told it is what happened. And Hattie is now recognized as by far the most successful woman to rule Egypt as pharaoh, though it is like unlikely we'll ever know the full story. It's just not possible. It's lost to time, basically. But information does continue to be uncovered. As Wilson wrote, in 2007, Egyptian archaeologist Zahi Hawass identified a previously excavated royal mummy, which from about 100, it was excavated like 100 years earlier. He's like, this is Hattie. We've had Hattie.
I found it.
Yeah, and he fully believes that, and some do, but other academics like Catherine Rohrig from, I think, American Egyptologist, is like, not quite sure, need more evidence. And I think it's still, like, this was, 15, 20 years ago, and they still don't know either way for sure. But History.com writes, it is now housed in the Egyptian Museum in Cairo, and a life-size statue of a seated Hattie that escaped her stepson's destruction. So he trashed so much, but this one survived. And it's now on display, as it should be, at the Met in New York City.
Oh my God, we have to
Memorial.
go. We have to go visit her.
Wait, can I say something? I've seen her then. I've been to that exhibit
amazing.
100 times throughout my life. That was like a big childhood exhibit, and I definitely know, I can picture her in my mind. I've seen that lady.
Brilliant.
That's
We'll wake her
awesome.
up and ask
That's
her.
so good. If you can get us a photo, that would be amazing.
Yeah, we gotta go.
I'll go up there. I love learning. This has been great. Why not keep the party? Why not go to my secondary source of the Met?
You go say hi to Hattie for us. If you
we
see
gotta
her,
go.
say
We
hi.
gotta go. I'm gonna tap her on the shoulder, see if I can get a story out of her.
Hattie, come on, spill. What really happened? So before she died, though, Hattie erected a second pair of obelisks at Karnak. And I figure let's finish today's report with some words from Hattie herself. Because on the inscription it reads, obviously the translation reads, "Now my heart turns this way and that, as I think what the people will say, those who shall see my monuments in years to come, and who shall speak of what I have done."
That's really
Oh my
lovely,
God.
but also so
Us.
brutal that her stepson tore down all those monuments.
Yeah, like she did that, quite late in her reign. She probably knows, she's starting to think about legacy and stuff.
Yeah, people will talk about me for thousands of years, but then there was that big gap in the middle, but she's back now.
Yeah, she's back and bigger
Oh,
than
if-
ever. Probably,
if-
maybe it even helps, because Tutankhamun apparently was really insignificant. He's only famous because of the discovery and how intact the tomb was and stuff. So this all being discovered in the 1900s, probably helped put Hattie on the map. Maybe, I don't know what I'm talking about. Trying to put a positive spin on it.
I'd way rather be famous now.
You're being discussed on this podcast now. That's
Yeah.
exactly what you wanted. We're crushing it.
She couldn't have even dreamed of TikTok clips. And yet,
Yeah, well, you said we're the modern day relief. Here we are.
Yeah.
We're doing it.
And what a relief. That is the end of the report. Thank you so much for hanging out and chatting through it with us. It's really great to have a perspective of some people who live near the Met.
Yeah, that's right. You brought that knowledge with you and also the water parks. We got to go.
Yeah. That's
we don't live near there, but
But we know about it more than you.
Well, neither do we, but it has jumped to the top of my to-do list. I'm scrapping weekend plans. I'm heading over. Imagine we could do a live show at a water park.
Oh my God, the
That's
dream.
a good idea.
The actual
thank you.
dream.
thank you guys so much for having us. It was so fun. I love to learn about a powerful lady.
Me too.
Yeah, well, so this was voted on by our patrons. I put up, she beat Nelson Mandela.
Cop that Mandela.
Yeah, I put up, and the first woman to scale the highest peak on every continent.
Whoa.
Japanese lady. So yeah, she beat out by quite a distance those ones. So I knew you because I know you do celebrity bios. That's why I put up 3. So I looked through your list. And I'm like, I'm gonna pick ones that you haven't done, and all the ones I was thinking of you had already done. So I'm like, I'm gonna have to
this
think
is
outside the
one
box a bit.
Yeah,
a
we
step
had not
away or two from
considered.
celebrity.
Matt,
Yeah.
Matt had to make sure he hadn't done Hatshepsut.
Oh my God, in just the nick of time. It's next week's episode, actually.
Oh, this is perfect timing.
Now, of course, we can listen to Celebrity Memoir Book Club every week. You got a new app coming out, but then also, if you're in Australia like us, the tour is coming up very, very soon. The first show kicks off on September the 20th. That's in Sydney. Then you're in Adelaide, Brisbane, Melbourne, and finally Perth on the 29th. So you're here for are you here for any time on either side? Because it's a whirlwind.
It's we're going to that footy thing that y'all have. That you're.
I was gonna say, yeah, Katy Perry's
yeah.
gonna be there too.
Oh, what a flop! Wow.
What a
Yikes.
just like Hattie, a feminist icon.
Yeah, seriously. Somebody whose monuments has been taken down for sure.
And so, like, when she's rocking up, when Americans are rocking up to do the pre-game entertainment at the AFL Grand Final, which is she'll perform in front of 100,000 people. It's a great gig, but it's never acts at the top of their game. I think last year or the year before was Kiss.
Okay.
And,
Oh my God, to be following up kids.
Yeah, I can't.
The most famous one is Meatloaf, who came out about 10 years ago and was so bad.
Yes.
So bad, so out of
His voice
tune.
was, not there.
And
Who was
unfortunately,
it? Meatloaf?
Meatloaf.
Meatloaf. He became like basically a joke in Australia. Didn't he?
Yeah, it's still like he would still be referenced as a joke.
And he was
but
such a
people do it really
serious
fresh.
artist before. Not his reputation.
Oh, God.
I
not
saw an
Meatloaf.
interview with him where it was like, the only thing that really pisses me off is when they put a space, people spell my name with a space between meat and loaf. It's one word. Or vice versa. I don't
Now,
know which one
he
it was.
has one of those Pharaoh-like taped on beards, I believe.
Oh, yeah. So masculine. The loaf. Yeah, that's so. I was about to say, you're coming to Australia at peak footy finals time. You're not.
I'm excited.
You're not competing with the grand final, are you?
Oh, no.
No. But Ashley used to play
I
that
used to
sport,
play-
so she could compete in it. If
Yeah.
you
play
want
Aussie rules?
extra.
Yeah, tap me
Play Aussie
in.
rules? Uh-huh. Do you know that there's a pro women's league now? Has been for about 8 years, and it's growing year on year. You
Yeah,
should.
they used to have like a when they would come over to America, they would like bring one over for like a seminar.
Awesome. Oh, that's sick. That's so fun that you played it.
Well, how'd you get into it? I love it.
I was like drunk, and this girl said, "Come with me to this thing tomorrow," and I said, "Okay."
That's amazing. Those two things really go hand in hand.
Honestly, that's how most players here start as well.
The 27th. Yeah, that is you. It is. That's a public holiday. Well, that's our the day before the game is a public holiday in Melbourne.
Oh my
So
god!
it's
so
a day off
excited.
work for you. So you could call it AFL Grand Final Day, public holiday, or Celebrity Memoir Book Club holiday.
Yeah, could be either thing.
I think of it
no
as
one's
both.
sure which.
They do a parade through the streets with the two teams on the back of like trucks or utes
my
or
God.
whatever.
Oh, but that's our culture too. We'll fit right in.
If you want to get involved in Australian culture, you're coming at the right time.
We're so
can't
we
wait.
can't wait. We want to dive in. We're hoping to like get stuck and never come back. But
Yeah.
You got to do. Are you doing a different book for each show?
we do stand up at the beginning, and then we do like a
sick.
short essay of like a local celebrity that we do like an episode, and then we have like improv games like Where Are They Now? Like we do hot takes.
Awesome.
We interact with the fans, that kind of thing. It's a whole
That's
fun.
great.
Yeah, it's not an exact episode. It's like a little live show that
Right.
whips
That
about.
Does it go out on the Patreon, or it lives in the moment? And
Lives in the moment, just in
Beautiful.
case.
That's really fun.
that's great. You're gonna that you should do some AFL footballers. Bio.
That's a
That would
really
be
good
very
idea.
funny. That would be
I bet
so
they're all
funny.
beautiful writers.
Oh, or Shane Warne, an Australian cricketer. We did an episode on him. I read his book for that. He'd be a fun one for Melbourne.
Yeah,
Oh,
he,
yeah.
he did a
Write
lot
that
of.
down.
He did a lot of pretty funny and outrageous stuff in his life.
Yeah,
didn't he?
yeah.
He lived the life.
He got banned from international cricket, and he blamed his mum. It was.
Oh my God.
He was done for taking something that would mask doping, but he's like, no, mum gave me a diuretic. I just didn't check if it
I
was
love
banned or
moms
not.
are so stupid, and I've always said
He's like, mum said I looked a bit chubby on TV, so she gave me a diuretic.
He's like a fully, what is he, like 32 years old or something? He's a fully grown man. Like our most famous cricketer.
He was
So
engaged
funny.
to Liz Hurley for a bit.
Oh my god!
I know her.
He had a non-smoking deal with a quit smoking thing, and he got busted smoking. Like really low stakes
But fun.
stuff, but really fun. I think that would be a very funny thing to talk about live.
Yeah, and everyone knows him here for sure.
I love that.
It'd be
Yeah, well,
funny.
thank you guys so much for having us. This was so fun. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Well, that brings us to everyone's favourite section of the show. We've said goodbye to the fantastic hosts of Celebrity Memoir Book Club.
Thank you, Claire and Ashley. What an absolute privilege it was to podcast.
It was so fun. That was our first time meeting, but really enjoyed their vibe and looking forward to catching their live show, which is sold out. So hopefully...
Oh, has it sold out now?
Hopefully they can get us in somehow.
Oh, wow. We did our job. Well, that was the Melbourne one I'm talking about. I'm sure that there's probably tickets.
Sorry, just the Melbourne one.
They're going to Sydney, Adelaide, Brisbane, Melbourne, and Perth. I'm sure there's tickets somewhere around there.
Definitely. And obviously you can listen to their pod for free.
Yeah, which we have been doing. It's a lot of fun.
It's a lot of fun.
Really fun.
Learning. They just go... It's bim, bam,
yes,
bim,
they
bam.
are very well. We even complimented them before we went on hit record. Like, wow, listening to your thing, it's impressive that how in sync with each other they are. It's great.
Something that I do regret, Dave, during the episode, I had the thought and I never said it out loud. We remember our hashtag hot for tut?
Yes, from first 10 episodes of the show or so.
I feel like there's a real opportunity for hashtag hottie for thotty. Thotmus. What a name. A beautiful name.
It is great.
And I'm so glad that Eli gave me clearance to mispronounce because you can't prove me wrong. Anyway, people are going to want to tweet me.
Yeah.
Hey, look, prove it.
Exactly.
As far as we know, all we know ancient Egyptian mummies sounded like was like,
And if you want to prove us wrong with your time machine, we'd love to go back with you.
oh, that'd be fantastic.
Happy to be proven wrong with the time machine.
Look, I'd also love to go with you in just a normal flying machine, like an aeroplane. If you want to fly me to Egypt, I'll concede defeat if you give me, return flights to Egypt.
Happy to concede under those conditions only.
I guess it wasn't Thotmus or Thotmus.
Guess what? Yeah. By the time you come back, you're like, sorry, what are you talking about again?
Yeah. What did I say?
Cara was amazing.
But anyway, this is the section of the show everyone loves. A lot of people skip to it. If you have just skipped to this point, go back and listen to it. That was a really good episode.
I reckon it was worth it. For once, it was actually worth listening to the main episode.
I don't think we go that far back in history that often. I think the majority of our history that we focus on is probably in the last 100 years.
Totally, definitely. And a lot of that is source-based, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right.
The easiest thing to... the most sources.
Yes.
And it's funny that, like, even if we'd told that story 100 years ago, which in the length of time since it happened is such a minuscule difference for them. 100 years is nothing because it's, 2,500 years ago, 3,000 years ago. But the story has changed so much.
Yeah.
With our modern interpretation. So who knows what it'll be like in another 100 years.
Yeah, no doubt it'll change a whole heap yet again. But... in this part of the show, we thank some of our great supporters who support us at patreon.com/dogoonpod. And they're basically the ones who keep the lights on, keep the mics on. Without their support, we wouldn't have a show. So we really do appreciate it. That's why we take 20 to 40 minutes at the end of each episode. To be honest, usually closer to 40. And
we take it for a walk, but that's because we like to give these people their time and also answer their questions and do all sorts of things. And as well as, being part of the show here and making the show happen, you can get bonus episodes. We do 4 per month, which is nearly every Sunday a bonus episode will come out into the Patreon feed, as well as access to nearly 250 in the back catalogue straight away. You get to hear about live shows before anyone else, discounts, be in the lovely Facebook group, ad-free listening of Do Go On.
That's right.
And you might be listening to that right now, and if you are, thank you for supporting us on Patreon.
It's proving very popular. People don't like ads.
Yeah.
Which, not everyone. There are still patrons who go, I need the ads. I like to know what's out there. Ads.
And, we'll also say to those patrons, feel free to download the episode anyway on your app and, help out with the second revenue stream there. But apart from that, you can
and also, any of these great advertisers, especially the ones that you hear us talking about.
Yep, personally endorsed.
Go out and purchase all of their stuff.
All of it.
All of it. Sell it out and say, Dave sent you. Actually, say Dave Warnicky from Do Go On, because that might be confusing.
Yeah, which Dave?
Oh. And what's Dave's surname? I don't know. The first thing we like to do is for people who've signed up on one of the higher levels, the Sydney Scheinberg Deluxe Memorial Package level, or whatever it is called. And people on that level, or above get to give us a fact, a quote, or a question, or a brag or a suggestion, or really whatever they like. And I read a few of them out each week. This week I'm reading out 4, Dave. Are you ready for this?
4, hit me.
And each person who sends one in also gets to give themselves a title as well. So the first one is a first-time fact, quote, or questioner. Richard Taylor Doyle, RTD.
RTD.
Fantastic. And RTD has given himself the title of expert in raising obscure references from episodes years ago.
Love it.
Richard, this means a lot. I'm
RTD,
sure.
we like to remember.
Yeah. Because we almost definitely will have forgotten. Let's find out. Richard writes, "Hi guys, a few years ago, I cannot remember the episode or the year." Oh yeah, you sound like you fit right
Yeah, that's
in
right.
over
That's
here.
the same as us.
You talked about the title of autobiographies. So I have a question for you all. What would you call your autobiography? I have answered the question also for Matt, the man of 1,000 memories, a history of Matt Stewart, part 1 to 10. Oh, part 1 of 10. For Dave, Pie in the Sky, the unfulfilled dreams of Dave Warnicky.
Thank you so much, RTD.
I think
brutal.
he's worked off from Pie. I think he's gone Pie in the Sky, and that's why it's unfulfilled.
Okay.
These dreams are Pie in the Sky. I don't think he's having a direct jab.
No, I think that's really, really funny.
And finally, for Jess, bop thumping. I got knocked down, but I got up again. I was hit by a car, don't you know? The rise and fall
That's good.
and rise again of Jess Perkins.
That's very good.
That's also the first chapter, I reckon. That's how long it was. That's fantastic. Well, I don't know if I can beat that, Dave. The Man of 1,000 Memories, A History of Matt Stewart, Part 1 of 10.
How
Good.
amazing that this is on the back of the Celebrity Memoir crossover episode.
Perfect.
Because they are all about, celebrities that have written their own autobiographies.
For instance, John Mulaney's ex-wife.
Do you know her name?
No.
Flea's one was Acid for the Children is what his book is called. The one that I listened to.
Well, that's good. Can you work off that for yours, maybe? Pies for the children?
Pie for the children.
Pies for the adults? I really don't think I can beat what Richard's done there.
What about something like, for me, it'd be like Dave Warnicky, like Easy as Pie, and then it's like a story in 3.14159 whatever pages.
Oh, yeah.
And then I'm exactly like some sort of pi digit.
Yes, I like it. You should do it in 3.1. You just do a really short book. 3.14 pages. Easy.
Yeah, that's good.
Because I am writing a book. I mean, I haven't touched it or looked at it for a while, but I still think about it.
Yes?
Based on a dare that you and Jess gave me on an episode of Phrasing the Bar.
Yeah, we said you're a coward if you don't write this book.
And I was actually thinking about it this week. The name of it's going to be something like The History of the World, Part 1, From A to Ant.
That's good. That's great.
And then, I'm just going to, free ball a history, that's nonsense, basically. But I'm going to be there. I'm witnessing it.
Right, but it's just set in an alternative reality where these things have never happened.
I don't know. I think it'll be things that have really happened, and it'll just be me sort of floating through them.
Right, gotcha. Forrest Gump style.
As well as I remember, it'll be like the stipulation.
Sure. Yeah.
This is 100% true, as best as my recollection allows, sort of thing. So yeah, maybe that'd be it. But I don't know. I think this might be better. The Man of 1,000 Memories.
That's really good.
But
I love Bop's one too.
yeah, bop thumping.
Bop thumping. But if anyone has any suggestions, I'd love to hear them for what we should call our autobiographies.
Yeah, that'd be fantastic. What a great debut from RTD, Richard Taylor Doyle. Next one comes from Stephen Carter. And Stephen's also known as irresponsible purchaser of brunch.
I'll get this.
Geez, someone you'd love to head to the cafe with.
Yeah, you'd love that.
Stephen's got a question/apology, writing, "Hey-o!" exclamation mark. So I hope I hit that right. Hope you're all well. Also,
Thank you.
Also exclaimed. Firstly, I was wondering what venue/city you would regard as the best crowd you have performed in front of, either individually or on pod. Which leads me to want to apologise on behalf of the audience at the latest Sydney show. It was hilarious, and my friends and I were having a good old lol the entire time. Matt going off the rails in person is somehow funnier than it is via my iPod. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the big bridge and the pointy house. Keep on keeping on, Stephen. They weren't so bad. I was laying into them a bit.
Yeah. It was all good fun though, wasn't it?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, they weren't the best, but they were fine. It was fine. But we have played to some crowds that are like super hot, and then you step back and you go, oh.
Yes, maybe a slightly more like a more raucous crowd. I think when you look back, you go, it's such a lovely venue. But the Ritz, this is the episode that came out 2 weeks ago on DB Tuba, if you've heard that one. And yeah, I think it was a fun show, and it's such a lovely venue, so beautiful. But it's
cavernous.
It's cavernous. It's also during the day. We did an afternoon. People are having popcorn rather than beers for most of the part. So there's maybe a little bit less of a Saturday night crowd, and it's more of a Saturday afternoon. Like, oh, this is fun. Yeah.
Yeah, and the high ceilings is a classic. Like, comedy is always best with low ceilings and all that sort of stuff. But I don't know. I thought they were a nice crowd.
No, I had a great time. I'd love to.
But it's just fun to.
Yeah.
It's fun to needle crowds. I do that probably every third live show we do.
And also to step into the stereotype of a Sydney person from a Melbourne perspective with a bit of tongue in cheek.
Yeah. I was just talking. I was making up the stereotype. They're all real estate agents on cocaine. It made no sense.
It's because it's the most expensive place to live in the country. That kind of thing. Yeah. And they are all hot.
Yeah,
I mean, that was true.
That's right. You didn't remember. You didn't see her, but there was that woman who looked like lady. She was getting up from the bus stop and going straight to a runway.
Jess did well to keep us on track that day, I think. Hottest crowd, best crowd. What do you think?
It's a good question. I don't know. Maybe, like, I know in the one of the live Melbourne ones this year, I think maybe the Scream one or something. That was a very warm crowd.
Yeah, and that is a great venue, the Basement Comedy Club. Like you're saying, that is the low ceilings crowd right there. People were up for that. That was a great time. I remember once we did one in Manchester as well, where I was doing an episode on Lawn Chair Larry.
Oh yeah, I did Plugger that day.
Plugger. I just felt like everything I said from the report they were laughing at.
Right.
It was like the biggest hit rate of. I'm like, that's just a bit of information there.
Yeah.
That was at the Bread Shed. I remember that was about 6 years ago. That was a really fun one. I remember that. We'll never forget the Dublin crowd for our first and so far only time. But we're coming back next month or the month after, early November. We'll be back in Dublin, and just doing the report on U2 and Bono, and again them comically getting into booing, and the energy in that room was just. That was wild.
That was fun. Yeah, I think I would say it's very rare we have a live show that the crowd isn't very warm. Or, quite nice. All those UK ones. There were a couple of the ones that felt lower energy in the UK were the 2 Monday shows back in.
Yeah, it's not surprising, is it? Yeah.
Back last time Jess was over with us. But yeah, that was probably more the day of the week. But it was still pretty fun. I think one of the hottest stand-up crowds that I remember was in Noosa for the road show, and it just it was just one of those ones where it just felt like everything was hitting and like
that's awesome
to like 1,000%. I might be misremembering, but I do remember.
Your 10-minute set goes for 20 because you have to pause and
yeah.
Okay, all right, guys.
Yeah.
Need to get to the bit.
But I mean, in terms of my stand-up, it's hard not to think of a crowd that hasn't absolutely been electric.
Exactly. You've never missed.
Never missed. Which is hard because I think you learn a lot from bombing. That's what everyone says, but I just never bomb.
You've never learned.
Never learned a single lesson. Good question, though.
That is a great question, yeah.
But yeah, Sydney was fine. And I mean, I laid into Sydney a bit for the live Who Knew It earlier in the year as well. But they were also fine. Yeah. I think it feels fun just needling a crowd a little bit.
Yeah.
Especially when you know that they're a friendly crowd.
Yeah, exactly. And they get it. And Sydney can take it. It's such a great place.
Yeah. It's like you're jabbing your big brother.
Yeah. We know you're better.
It's Tinseltown up there. Thank you so much for that question, Stephen. Next one comes from Claire. We should I really think we should be doing a show in Sydney every year.
Yeah, I'm hoping that we'll be back the next year for sure.
Brisbane too. Actually, we are talking. I mean, we're at the end of the episode. We could probably let a few behind the curtains things out here.
Yep.
But we're talking about maybe doing a proper tour next year, aren't we, Dave?
Yeah, hitting up all the places we love and haven't been to in a while.
Yeah, Australasia, maybe first time in New Zealand.
That's definitely high on the list.
And America, obviously, is the other big one. But Dave's even been looking at what I mean. Oh, please fill out the form that Dave put together.
Yeah, the Do Go On international tour mailing list. I shouldn't say international. It's also if you're in Australia or closer to home. Please also fill it out. Basically, you tell us where you are in the world, and we will email you when we are coming there. And it's just great because we get these little stats behind the scene that says so many downloads in blah blah. But sometimes it's too specific. Like rather than say in Melbourne, it will say Brunswick, like the suburb we're in, and then it will also say Coburg, the one over
Frankston.
It's hard to know the numbers of where people would come to see a live show. So you let us know.
And a listener doesn't necessarily mean someone who will come to a live show as well. So, yeah, fill it out if you would be up for coming to a live show. And this is how we're going to decide where we're going to tour next year.
Like, for example, right now I'm looking at it. Then not that many people have filled it out already, but there's already 16 people have told us that they would come to a show in Tokyo.
Oh, really?
We get that number closer to 100, maybe it would be worth our while doing a show in Japan.
Oh, man.
For example.
That would be so great.
And then, obviously in America too, that would really help because we are hoping to get there next year. It also helps with showing a promoter on paper, hey, look.
Yeah, this amount of
300 people said they'd come to see us in Dallas. Oh, my gosh, we have to go to Dallas, for example.
Yeah, they'll say, all right, maybe I'll reply to this email.
Yeah, exactly. Because otherwise they often go, podcasts from Australia, too hard. But no, we want to get there.
But yeah, so please, that's linked in our link tree.
Our link tree, which you can find via the Do Go On Pod Instagram, is the easiest way to find that. And it takes a minute. You name, you fill out your cities,
and that's the other thing. Please follow us on Instagram, probably especially, but also the other social media as well. Firstly, we keep you updated, and we normally post photos and stuff about the topic during the week, but also,
videos from the show now.
And apparently promoters do also look at numbers of followers, and they base whether or not they take you seriously or not based on that number as well. And ours aren't super big, so
yeah, that's right. A lot more people listen than follow, so please tip the ratio.
I think it also probably makes it easier to get other podcasters who don't know us.
Yeah, that's right.
To come be guests on if they're like, oh, they've got a following here. Anyway, next one comes from Claire, aka the Whisperer of the Caves.
I like that a lot.
Brackets, yes, I used a title generator. It's no horse name, but alas, I'm not a horse.
Do you know it was a cave name generator?
Yeah.
Very specific.
And Claire has a question writing, hi all, hope everyone is well. Since this is my first fact quote or question in a while, it's still impressive. I'm sorry that I trailed off there.
Yeah. Oh, in a while. Okay.
Since this is the first fact quote or question in a while, congratulations to Dave and his family.
Oh, thank you.
For people who don't know, Dave had some big news. His family band...
We're top of the charts.
Top of the charts.
We've gone gold in Sweden. Yes, no, our newest family member at the start of the year. Got a lovely little baby now, and things are going great, so I appreciate that.
Hopefully you're getting some sleep now. And to Jess, who I'm sure is listening, because she's fine, I hope you and your partner have a wonderful life together. That sounds sort of ominous.
Yeah, that does sound a bit ominous.
That sounds like you are suggesting she won't be back.
Yeah, do you think...
Have a nice life.
That sounds like you're putting Jess into witness protection or something.
Yeah. Trying to see what wishes to me. But
nothing?
That seems to be the end of the paragraph there.
Oh, no.
But anyway, my question, inspired by my 6-year-old and our recent visit to the zoo. If you could have any animal as a wild pet, what would it be?
Oh, wow.
Assuming it would not kill you and you could keep it happy and healthy.
Oh, great. Love that.
I added these as my kid was all for people with guard lions. That's great fun. My kid picked... We always like people to answer their questions.
Yeah.
My kid picked the river otter, native to our area in Sacramento. Oh, my gosh, Sacramento, home of the old basketball team, the Kings.
Wow, whatever happened to them?
I don't know, but we wish them well.
Yeah, we wish them well. Have a nice life.
Have a nice life, Kings. And Claire picked... Sorry, I've lost my spot. And Claire picked and Pear clicked the meerkat.
Oh, two great, very cute animals. Also, not too big.
I learned a fact about meerkats recently. I think this is right. Apparently, they dig a fake burrow or whatever, so that like birds of prey that are trying to get them go to the false one. I hope that's right.
That's great.
Anyway.
And then do they kick the door in? And It's just sort of trapped underground. Oh, no.
Finally says, cheers. Hopefully we'll see you soon here in the US. So good. Because great question. And I like all the stipulations because I will stipulate that I wouldn't want to have a wild animal as a pet just because having learnt from Erica Fleury from NAPSA on primates, the North American Primate Sanctuary Alliance, it's not a good idea. And I guess I probably already knew that deep down, but if in a dream scenario, like we're living in a cartoon world or something.
Yeah, that's right. And also, because I imagine, I think otters don't smell very nice. Like if you go to see them at a zoo or something, usually they're enclosure because they're in the water and
they hold hands.
But they're so cute.
Yeah.
I would. My favorite animal ever is a panda.
Panda, that's right.
Love to have a panda.
But
if it doesn't hurt me and it's happy and healthy.
And you're talking about a giant one because you loathe red pandas.
Oh my God, there's red pandas. Fake pandas, as I call them as a child. They are very cute, but they're not real pandas.
Yeah, it's funny that they haven't had a name change.
Yeah, but yeah, love a giant panda. Also love, and you do see them looking like they're having a nice time as pets. Capybaras.
Oh yeah, they look cool.
I love it.
I think I'm going to have to go wombat because that is my favorite animal. I love a thick.
Yes.
I love a chunky animal.
A beefy boy.
A thotty. Yeah. I love a thotty animal. I'm hottie for thotty animals.
I think wombat is a good choice because your other one's like a yak or a bison, which I know you love, but that's hard to have in the backyard.
Bison, what a beautiful animal. Or any sort of cow. A cow. Maybe a cow in the backyard.
You could have that probably.
I'd need to get a backyard, but
council,
in this world, I also get a yard.
Your council going to have a real issue.
In the end, I just end up with a dairy farm. Yeah. My dream. Turns out my dream was just to be a dairy farmer. Or obviously, because I'm a big fan of non-human primates, so like an orangutan or something would be so good. But obviously, wouldn't do that to them. Cow, I think,
Cow.
I don't know if they can do it by themselves anymore.
Yeah.
That might be the most ethical of all of them. Thank you so much, Claire.
It's a fun question, though.
It is a fun question. But yeah, panda.
Right, panda.
And it would eat
out of house and home.
They struggle to live because your house and home is made of bamboo.
Yeah, that's right. Which was, environmentally very friendly to build out of. But
this is a problem.
They are going to be destroying that. No,
they're like worse than a termite on wood. Oh no, bamboo home.
Oh no, this home has pandas.
Yeah, we got the panda exterminators in. Great question, Claire. Yeah. I'm going to open up my own mini zoo, which focuses on wombats, bison, cows, and orangutans. And I will learn how to say orangutans before I get involved in that. Our final one this week comes from Lauren Joyner, aka the titular Lauren Joyner.
That's good.
Also got a question. 4 questions this week. What is your favorite underrated comedy? And second question, what is your favorite unintentional comedy? Absolutely love watching so bad they're good movies, and even better when they are not at all supposed to be funny at all, but are. Clearly, I love a dog shit riff, so I trust your comedy recommendations. To answer my own questions, thank you so much for doing so.
Yes.
Lauren, favorite underrated comedy and favorite in general is Hamlet 2 starring Steve Coogan. What's that?
Hamlet 2 with Steve Coogan? I mean, that's like an AI's come up with something I want to watch.
Yeah. It's ridiculous in all the right and wrong ways, and I can't get enough of it. I recommend it to everyone who will listen and also those who don't. I also love all things David Wayne and Christopher Guest, and favorite unintentional comedy goes to Roadhouse, the original, starring Patrick Swayze. It's so ridiculous and it takes itself so seriously. What a fun romp. I need all action films to have a minimum of 3 unnecessary flips during fight scenes, and boy, does Roadhouse deliver. I think I've seen a clip from that.
I haven't seen it.
That sounds way up your alley.
I honestly love that.
Favorite underrated comedy? I think maybe Yes Man is one that I think is... I haven't seen in a long time, but...
Oh, yeah.
I remember
I read the book, Danny Wallace book, but I haven't seen the...
Jim Carrey's so good in it. So many great moments. Reese Darby, very funny in it as well. It's quite a cute sort of film.
Yeah.
Nice. Zoe Deschanel's in it as well. It's great. It's real funny. Oh, and everyone in it's really great. The guru in it, I forget what his name, but he's got a real... what's his name? And he's just got a very funny name for a guru. It's like Trent or something.
Trent, I'm laughing already.
It's not Trent. What is it? Terrence. Terrence. He says, if he's so funny, he's played by Terrence Stamp. He said something like, if the mountain won't come to the molehill won't come to the mountain. Or something like that. I can't remember.
But it's good stuff.
But it is good stuff.
It is definitely good stuff.
Unintentional, I'm not sure, because it is probably pretty intentional, but I love, Con Air is so funny.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
Intentionally funny.
Yeah, we love it, though, yeah.
But it's not like a comedy. I can't, without notice, none is coming to mind of a real unintentional.
I'm sort of the opposite to you. The underrated comedy, everything I'm thinking about, people like that. I love the cartoon parody shows where they redubbed the voices from the 2000s. Do you know C-Lab 2021?
Oh, I've heard of it. I haven't seen it.
Yeah, I feel like a few people probably haven't seen that, but I absolutely loved that. But I don't know if that's underrated, because I think the people that do like it really like it. It's more of a cult thing, so I don't know if it's underrated.
I think that counts.
But maybe less well known than a lot of comedies. And Unintentional, man, I love it so bad. It's a good movie. The most recent one I watched that came to mind is, this is also a sequel, Titanic 2.
Oh, that sounds fantastic.
And it is written and directed by Shane Van Dyke.
Oh, my God.
AKA...
Did you know that at the time?
Yeah, that's one of the reasons I picked it. I was like, what's he up to? Titanic 2, I have to watch this. And it's great. Basically, this is the plot. The film is set on a fictional replica of Titanic that sets off exactly 100 years after the original ship's maiden voyage. But due to global warming and the forces of nature, it causes history to repeat itself on the same night, only on a more disastrous, deadly scale. So there's another iceberg. There's another big wave. Titanic 2 sinks. And it is. And did I also say that Shane Van Dyke is also the main actor in it?
Oh, yeah. That's what I want to hear. I appreciate that very much.
It's a merciful 90-minute run. And I'd really, so bad it's good. You got it. Yeah, it's from 2010. I watched it on Tubi, or one of those sort of apps where it's free, but it's got ads. Yeah, so...
Tubi.
Tubi's
fun to say. Yeah. All right. Thank you so much to these fantastic facts, quotes, and questions. All questions. Lauren, Claire, Stephen, and RTD. First timer. Fantastic effort on debut from Richard Taylor Doyle. Next thing we like to do, Dave, is normally come with a little game. And luckily for us, Eli, who not only suggested the topic, also suggested a little game for us to play at the end here. Writing, I also found a page on royal names. Not super important, but just thought it would be fun for you to know since you mentioned one of Hatshepsut's royal titles, and they really go for it. So I'm going to use this list, which is just a photo they've taken from a book, like an academic book.
Right, yeah.
So, and it's titled, it's Appendix P, The Titulary and Other Designations of the King.
Amazing.
The titulary of an Egyptian king comprises 5 titles and names. So we're going to... The first 5, I guess, we'll go with these. And then the last 4, I'm going to have to make some
You'll
up.
riff some up. Okay. So you want me to read these names out?
I would
and then
love
you'll
that.
assign them a titular
Yes,
title.
please.
Okay, I would like to thank, first of all, from Lakewood in Illinois, it's Brandon Wozni.
Brandon Wozni, a.k.a. the Horus.
Oh.
That name is written vertically within the palace facade upon which the Horus falcon is perched, sometimes wearing the double crown. The Horus falcon on the facade is the writing for the title Horus, and the name can also be written horizontally following the Horus falcon without the crown and facade.
All right. So you get a symbol and then the name.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, a lot of their hieroglyphics are symbols to us, but I like the idea that you could just sign your name with one little, that's me, Horus. And that's you, Brandon Wozni. Thank you so much. I would like to thank now from Lavington in New South Wales, our new Pharaoh, our new king. We bow down to Jason Smead.
A.k.a. the Two Ladies.
Oh.
And that is the name that follows the title, which refers to the 2 goddesses of the crowns, Elkab and Buto.
Okay. Just two ladies. It sounds like Egyptian bingo. Like a...
Eli's going to be listening to this going, this is not what I
think Eli knew.
Fully missing the context here.
I think Eli knew where this would go. I would like to thank from a location unknown to us, probably deep within the Fortress of the Moles, possibly beneath the Great Pyramid of Giza.
Ooh.
I would like to thank Tim Wood.
Okay. Now, I don't know. I'm just reading the words, okay? The prenomen follows the title, and there's some hieroglyphics there. King of Upper and Lower Egypt. The prenomen is usually formed with the name of the sun god Re or Ra, and is written within a cartouche.
Ooh.
A cartouche.
A cartouche.
Do you know what that means?
Yeah, it's like a...
You'd know because you've watched The Mummy.
Yeah, I think it, honestly, isn't it like...
Does it come up in The Mummy? Cartouche.
Is it a papery thing?
Could be. But I think that's... the word itself is so good it doesn't even need to mean anything.
Oh, no, it's one of those oval... That's what I know. My dad has one of these as a necklace that he got in Egypt. It is in Egyptian hieroglyphics, a cartouche is an oval with a line at one end and a tangent to it, indicating that the text enclosed is a royal name.
Well, there you go. That makes
go.
sense. That makes sense. That makes sense. No.
Thanks, Dad. I would like to thank from Dyer, Indiana. I'm not sure how to say this. It's either JJJ or Triple J.
Oh.
Or double JJ.
Oh, double JJ.
Or single double J.
Single double J, a.k.a. Son of Ray.
Son of Ray. Hey, hey, hey.
Name follows it's like a hieroglyphics of like a duck or a goose with a circle above it.
This is a fun game describing hieroglyphics. Actually, that is a scene from The Mummy as well. Remember, she's reading from the tablet, the book of...
Amun-Ra?
Yeah, Amun-Ra. And then she can't... No, Jonathan's reading and he can't quite... He goes, it's sort of a lady doing this, and then she's dancing, and then Evie has to work it out, and she's about to get killed.
Oh, right.
So we are doing that.
It is also written within a cartouche. It is the name borne by the king before his ascension and confirms to the current dynastic tradition, 12th dynasty, 12th dynasty Amenemhet Sesostris, 18th century Amonhotep Thutmosis, 19th and 20th dynasties Seti and Ramesses. Sorry, everybody.
Ramses, that one. I know that one.
So yeah, Son of Ray.
Yeah.
I think Triple J got a good one there.
Triple J, you are the son of Ray. I would like to thank now from location unknown to us, probably also deep within the Fortress of the Moles, it's Kevin West.
Well, there's one last paragraph here that maybe Kevin gets, saying, today, following the ancient Greek tradition, we refer to the kings by their Son of Ray names, whereas the Egyptians of the Old Kingdom used the Horus name, and those of the Middle and New Kingdoms preferred the NSW, New South Wales, bitty name when mentioning the king by only one name. So I think, what was this person's name?
Kevin West.
Kevin is bitty.
King Bitty.
King bitty.
Thanks, KW, aka Bitty.
Oh, so good. I think we're all learning here. We got 4 more, is that right?
Yeah, 4 more, bringing things closer to home to our capital territory. From Canberra, I would like to thank Beck.
Beck. All right, I've just found Egyptian fantasy name generators. An Egyptian name generator. All right, let's see what comes up here. What has that done? I missed Jess. What does this mean? All right. Beck, here we go. Tespast Peru.
Honestly, if you'd read that out before, I would have been like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, maybe it is a real one. I don't know where they're generating it from.
Yeah.
Tespast Peru. Oh, my gosh. And Dave, do you want to give some sort of a background to what that means?
Tespast Peru.
I just Googled it, and the first thing that came up was Transformers Rise of the Beasts, because that must have been set in Peru at one point, which it definitely was, because I talked about it on Primates.
Perfect.
Yes.
And Beck is Tespast Peru, a.k.a. a pyramid that transforms.
Yeah, that's right.
Was that what happened in the movie?
That's what happened in the
I'm
movie,
sure it did. I would like to thank from old Altona in Victoria, it's Miranda Taylor.
Miranda Taylor, a.k.a. T.E. Mest Nibs. T.E. Mest Nibs.
T.E. Mest Nibs.
Okay, let's see what comes up if I Google this. Calligraphy nibs.
Okay, yes.
So what's this god?
This god was this is actually the first cereal mascot that Egypt had, ancient Egypt.
Yeah.
And because everyone was writing things down, bit of calligraphy.
Right.
They obviously went, well, it's kind of like they called them Nibby.
Nibby. So is your cereal like the little monkey from Cocoa Pops?
Yeah, that's right. Snap, Crackle, and Pop and Nibby.
Nibby was actually the original.
Yeah. Not many people know that.
King Nibby.
King Nibby, a.k.a. Miranda Taylor. I would like to thank from Edmonton in Canada, thank you to Alex.
Alex, a.k.a. Downsea Pa Neffa. Downsea Pa Neffa. And if I Google that, what does Google autocorrect it to? Oh, no, this is a real thing. Petri Downsea Pa Neffa was an Egyptian Medjay in the service of Prince Ramesses during the late Bronze Age. He served under Ramesses during his conquest of southern Canaan, including the siege of Ashkelon in 1205 BC.
Wow. And that's Alex.
That's Alex, yes.
Great work, Alex. And finally, I would like to thank from Londonderry in Northern Ireland, where we will be. Not in Londonderry. Fortunately, we're only going to Belfast. We would love to meet you in the middle. We're going to do our live show there in November as part of our European tour. I would like to thank from Londonderry, as I find the tab again because I was looking up the map, Phoebe and David Nugent.
Oh, double. All right, I'll pick 2 here. What about Hisset M. Keb and Fuckaina? Fuckaina.
Wow.
Hisset M. Teb?
Fuckaina. That sounds like a James Bond character.
Yeah.
Fuckaina. My name is Serena Fuckaina. And James Bond just sort of looks at the camera and be like,
Fleming, you're starting to lose it, mate. It says the first thing that comes up is validating tests as high school equivalency tests. So what high school equivalency tests, what kind of goddess and god pairing could this be?
The goddess of VCE and HSC.
Oh, yeah.
Which to our Londonderry listeners probably doesn't mean anything, but that's 2 of the certificates you can get here in Australia.
Yeah. So there you go. Yeah. Thank you so much to Phoebe and David and Alex and Miranda and Beck and Kevin and JJJ and Tim and Jason and Brandon. And the last thing we need to do is welcome a few people into our Triptych Club, Dave. You want to quickly give us a rundown before you help us bring them in? Yeah,
basically this is our Hall of Fame where we induct members that have been supporting the show on the shout-out level or above for 3 consecutive years. You've already had a shout-out, but now a few years later, We're going to induct you forever, put you on the honor roll, put your name up on the wall, put your name up in lights, and welcome you into our clubhouse. It's a theatre of the mind. It's whatever you want it to be. For us, it's a clubhouse. It's a hangout zone. It's a bar. It's a music venue. It's an arcade. It's a movie theatre.
And also, it means you're only 6 years away from getting into the Triptych Club.
Absolutely.
Which it's still being built.
Exactly. There's another little club out the back, which has an even thicker velvet rope.
Oh, yeah. It's thick. It's a thought. Am I using that right?
It is absolutely thought.
It is a thought rope. So, Dave normally books a band. I did put in a request a while ago to see if you could get the Bangles, but you said you couldn't. Is that right?
Yes. It's been very difficult with their people. They've kind of said, like, not everyone wants to do it. And we only want to do it if everyone's back together. So, unfortunately, I wasn't able to get the Bangles, but I have been able to get another great band, the Go-Go's.
Oh, my God. I love the Go-Go's.
So we're very happy to have them.
Stoked with the Go-Go's.
Yeah, I knew you would be. That's why I thought I'd let you down quietly, because I knew you were very stoked on the Bangles. But
and what is that, original lineup? Or, as...
All of them. Everyone who's ever been in the band have agreed.
Fantastic.
It's kind of like when you get inducted to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. You all get an invite.
Which they did, didn't they, a couple of years ago, I think.
Very exciting.
If I'm remembering right. Anyway, and also Jess normally behind the bar serving up a drink. I'm taking over that role, and we're serving up a cocktail called Hottie for Thotty, and it is too hot, unfortunately. I put it on the oven. We boiled it up. All the alcohol was burnt off, and it has remained so hot. So it is just something that I'm so sorry. I'm now trying to do two jobs. I'm also the door person. So if you could just have a little patience with me, I'm really sorry. But yeah, probably avoid drinking the Hottie for Thotty, because it will burn your mouth.
Yeah, you will be having to go to hospital.
I'm back on the door now, Dave. Are you ready? We've got 3 inductees this week.
Yes, I usually hype these people up with some non-weak wordplay, strong wordplay.
Mid to strong. Yeah. And we got 3 this week. And yeah, if you hear your name, run on in. Everyone else in the club, which is hundreds and hundreds of people now, they're there. They're in there for life, whether they like it or not, and they like it. And they are cheering you on as well. So here we go. First up from Reservoir. You know what?
You did both.
Because I started reading, because I've been listening to Triple R recently, and they've been doing their membership renewal drive. Mm-hmm. And they keep mucking it up. So I got in my own head about it, because the word is reservoir, right? But the suburb's spelt the same, but it's called reservoir.
Vor. That's what I'd say,
But it got in my head, so Anyway, from Reservoir in Victoria, here in Melbourne, it is Alita Trong.
Well, if it's not Alita Trong, I don't want to be right.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Don't want to be wrong.
Yeah.
Don't want to be Alita Trong.
I'd rather be Alita Trong. Thank you so much.
From Columbia in Mo in the US, it's Andrew Hutchinson.
The Hutchins son of a gun.
And finally, is Mo Missouri? We always get tripped up on this one, doesn't matter.
I'm in the zone, I can't look it up.
Finally, from Somersworth in New Hampshire, I reckon, in the United States, it's Angelo Del Guiducci.
Guiducci. Oh, I thought about wearing my Gucci shoes, but now I'm going to decide I'm going to wear my Guiducci shoes and look even cooler.
He's done it again. Well done, Dave. And thank you so much to Angelo, Andrew, and Alita. Please make yourselves at home. Avoid the drink at least for a while. Let it cool down.
Let it cool.
But enjoy these fantastic songs of the Go-Go's.
That's right. When it comes to the drink, your lips should be sealed.
They should be sealed.
And now they'll be singing their hit, Our Lips Are Sealed.
Thank you so much. You've done it perfectly well. And I'll be in the back of the room, singing it as Alex the Seal.
Alex the Seal.
All right, Dave, that brings us to the end of the episode. Anything we need to do before we boot this baby home?
Hey, no. Just to tell people to go to our website if they want to find links to live shows, Patreon, merchandise, all that sort of stuff. That's dogoonpod.com. You can follow us, as we said, and fill out that form. Let us know where in the world we should tour by telling us where you are, and then we'll email you when we get there. That's on our link tree on our Instagram to find that at dogoonpod. But apart from that, Matt, we'll be back very, very soon with another episode. In fact, this time next week, if you're listening to the minute it comes out. But until then, I'll say thank you so much for listening and goodbye.
Later. This podcast is brought to you by Squarespace, the all-in-one website platform for entrepreneurs to stand out and succeed online. Whether it's your first ever website or your business is expanding, Squarespace makes it easy to create a beautiful website and engage with your audience.
Now, Matt, we here at Do Go On are big fans of the horse name generator. It's saved our lives many, many times when we can't think of an idea.
Literally saved our lives. We'd be dead now
We would
without
be
it.
dead without the horse name generator. But Squarespace have gone one better with the business name generator.
What?
Basically, you describe your business idea with a short prompt and start generating AI-powered names in seconds. Then leverage Squarespace's domain registration, website building, and logo creation tools to start bringing your brand to life and establish your online presence. Get a good name and succeed.
I mean, that's what, like 90% of the battle is a good name?
Exactly.
You know, imagine if I wasn't Matt.
I can't even imagine.
I can't even imagine. My life would be a failure.
Exactly. You would have died without your name and without horse name generator.
Exactly. They're the big two. Hey, Dave, there's even more.
Whoa.
You can easily add appointments to your Squarespace website and start accepting clients. Accept them, Dave.
I need to, but I'm overwhelmed.
First, accept yourself. That's the first step. Automate your bookings, manage payments and invoices, send reminders, and more.
And you can get your website discovered fast with integrated SEO tools, which I believe means search engine optimization, which I nearly said correctly. Every Squarespace website is optimized to be indexed with meta descriptions, an auto-generated sitemap, and more, so you show up more often to more people in global search engine results.
Head to squarespace.com/do-go-on, D-O-G-O-O-N. I mean, I really am sorry about that. I'm mansplaining a little there, aren't I? You can probably spell the name of this show. Anyway, for a free trial, head to squarespace.com/dogon and to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. Holy moly, that is the value.
Fall is here, and if you want to sleep in the coziest bed imaginable, you have to start with Boll & Branch's best-selling 100% organic cotton sheets. You'll spend every night wrapped in buttery, breathable softness and feel your sheets getting even softer with every wash. Discover the difference with Boll & Branch's 30-night guarantee. Plus, get 15% off and free shipping on your first set of sheets. Visit bollandbranch.com and use code BUTTERY. Exclusions apply. See site for details.
Don't forget to sign up to our tour mailing list so we know where in the world you are and we can come and tell you when we're coming there.
Wherever we go, we always hear 6 months later, oh, you should come to Manchester. We were just in Manchester.
We're just there, but this way you'll never miss out. And don't forget to sign up, go to our Instagram, click our link tree. Very, very easy.
It means we know to come to you, and you'll also know that we're coming to you.
Yeah, we'll come to you, you come to us. Very good.
And we give you a spam-free guarantee.